Yo, what's good, everybody? Spencer the Guru back at it. 2025 NFL Draft right around the corner. Figured it'd be a good time to make my triumphant return to the podcast space so we can break down this draft first round scenarios. Going to go through all 32 teams, break down who might go where, and debate amongst the panel we've got. We got a great panel set to join us. We got El Domingo, El Capitan, Diamond Joe backstage, as well as Bogart Scott Free, the founding father of the Gin Wealth Net, as we are live on both my channel, Spencer the Guru, and the Gin Wealth Net here this evening, Sunday evening. If you're tuning in later, then or whenever you're tuning in, just sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And yeah, we'll run this little intro thing, and then we'll be back to break it all down. Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Tet McMillan, where are they going to all end up? Well, we'll give you all our humble opinions on all that in just a little bit on Spencer Guru and Gin Wealth Net. Y'all sit back and chill. We're going to have a fun show. So we'll be right there if I can just find this intro. I have found it. Let's get it.
Prime one, that's him. Scott, thought you thought, but I wasn't born yesterday. All I do is ball. You goofies underestimate. Heavyweight bag, step on your weight class. I done moved across states, blood I can't cap. Strapped with it for my pivot, clocking digits. Rock hard and I ain't even in the kitchen. I'm on a mission to move soft, make a thing flip like a moonsault. Keep a switch for everybody through salt. Face froze, somebody check dude pulse. Is you stepping or stepped on? Wake the game up, make them regret I was slept on. Bogey's world, welcome to a new dawn. Till I move up, I can never move on. Big bread got me bougie past the great poop on. I'm getting over while you busy fighting over croutons. Yeah, bogeyism, a true Bogart, gon' get it. All this water got me tripping. Hella fish scale, but I ain't fishing. See I move with precision. When it comes to living, I'm the definition. If I stand for one thing, it's on business. Bogeyism, it just hit different. Yeah, it just hit different. You find my story is all non-fiction. I put my fan before me and I gotta mention. I keep an air fan tone mob a henchman. For you squares, option for opposition. And you ops, I get popped trying to stop my ascension. Talking generational, you got my attention. Underworld motivational, you feel the sensation. Try to see how I look, get booked, I'll take it. I was just a crook, all it took was some patience. Now my phone out the hook, I got hella deals waiting. You ain't really made it unless you got somebody hating. Bogey's world, welcome to a new dawn. Till I move up, I can never move on. Big bread got me bougie past the great poop on. Getting over while you busy fighting over croutons. Yeah, bogeyism, a true Bogart, gon' get it. All this water got me tripping. Hella fish scale, but I ain't fishing. See I move with precision. When it comes to living, I'm the definition. If I stand for one thing, it's on business. Bogeyism, it just hit different. Yeah.
There we go. Now we're rocking. What's up, everybody? Woo! Diamond Joe, how you feeling, homie?
Spencer the Guru, what's up, man? Good to see you. Welcome back. You know what I mean? You're working hard. You know, but I see you back to work still. Ain't no days off, but
100%.
good to see you. Yes, sir. Want to shout out the chat. What up, Lee? What up, Derek? King D, Antonio.
Right on. Yeah, we got a full house tonight, man, on a Sunday night. Lee, our first homie to pull up, our ear to the streets.
You had me in the baseball league. Sorry, Lee. Sorry.
Yeah, the base man. I took an L in our baseball league this week, man. That's a tough league, man. I got some savages in there. I'm trying to stay patient. I feel like my hitters are finally starting to get going. I got really good pitching staff in there. My lineup needs to pick it up, man. But I believe in them.
Yep, we got a long way to go. Week 1 down.
Definitely, y'all ain't gonna want to play me when I get Acuna back. I'll just leave it at that. And Bogey in the building. What's that name?
My bad. Had to go referee these kids, man. I'm like, why ain't nobody else hear them?
Oh yeah, you gotta do your thing, man.
Dad got the final say. Dad got the final say always. You ain't lying. Come on now, shit didn't hit the fan if Dad got to come there.
I always tell him like this: we're gonna play a game. It's called silence. Do you want to win the game? I'm raising winners around here.
Right. Hell yeah. We got Marty up in here. I see Marty just pulled up. Shout out Minnesota Marty. What's got Kitty Cat. What up, homie?
The Cat Man.
Yes,
himself.
Indeed. Yep, the Cat Man himself. And King D. Shout out King D.
King D.
And Antonio.
What's up, twins?
Go Smoke
this Sunday evening. They're out.
Definitely.
The big ghost.
Yep. And of course, Derek, salute.
What up, Derek? Happy Sunday to everybody.
Right on. Yeah, we got a lot of homies in the house, and that's great because we've got a lot to talk about. Y'all pulled up at a good time because I was just like, you know what, man? I need to brush up on my NFL draft knowledge. I need to figure out what's going to happen in this first round. And so we're going to go through it pick by pick, starting with Tennessee at number 1. But I guess before we start, Bogey, let them know about what the Gen Wealth Net's been up to lately. I've been a little out of the loop, but I'm getting back into it. But yeah, before we get going, let them know about all the isms that have been going down.
Man, shout out to the fella, you know what I mean? Me and JD, and I also shout out to Slim. We've been firing up the OJ and the blunt for breakfast a few times a week now, you know what I mean? Keeping this off season nice and busy. And we got Wake Your Game Up still Tuesdays and Fridays, you know what I mean? Just basically continuing our countdown to the 2025 NFL draft. And then, we're still in full dynasty mode until maybe about after the NFL draft, we probably got a few more dynasty, or not even probably, we do got a few more dynasty startups. And then, we're back into the full swing of redraft season. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready for redraft. I'll be real. I kind of had to take a pause from dynasty this offseason, but might still have time to join a startup. We'll see. I just have had some other irons in the fire, but we're getting back to it, y'all. And so, yeah, we're going to go through this draft here because that's the way to when you're in dynasty mode, you got to be tracking these rookies and seeing where they're going to end up. So, yeah.
Hopefully you stockpile some draft picks to go with it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Good draft.
Yeah.
Sure. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Because if you're in dynasty leagues with me, I am always going to try my best to be in the mix, and I'll never have picks more than likely.
Oh, shit. And perfect timing. We actually got a very special guest joining us, y'all. Been a little minute since we've chopped it up, but I am ready to pick his brain because this man has been an OG since we met in 2020, I believe, and it's been real ever since, y'all. Let's bring him on, man. Clock management, Justin. What it do, homie?
What up?
Look at us. We're all back together.
And just like him, showing up late. No respect for time.
No. Bogey sent it to the wrong email.
You control the clock.
I thought I need a... I'm the one that needs a clock management lesson. I live on New Orleans time, and we're always late. So I think I might have to.
You got the guy here.
I'm retiring from my other job soon, so.
Hey, that's one hell of an intro for Clock On. Like, listen, and last but not least, not because he's last, it's because he's late. Clock management.
No, Bogey, you sent it to my clock management, not my personal email.
Oh man, okay.
I'm like sitting here refreshing my email. I'm like, he said he sent it.
I did have several. I had 2 emails in there, And I think, you know what's going on too, is like, I'm like rolling the joint. I'm like, okay, yeah, this one. Bloop. I even said it to him, like, whoop, whoop, said the, the other one. I might have seen clock and I just thought clock,
Hey, man.
But,
yeah.
I mean,
All right,
you
so
know
that's your
what?
fault today.
We
Not
actually
today,
try to
not
throw
today.
you.
Next
we
time.
try to throw you through several loops actually to see if you'll still make it on time.
You got to test the limits. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you made it on time, Clock. We were about to start this mock, so we're gonna kick it off here. I'll just go ahead and do it. This is the mock I made today, and so y'all can critique me and we'll debate back and forth. But I think this number 1 pick is pretty set in stone. It appears that the Tennessee Titans are all in with Cam Ward. That's who I have going number 1.
I don't know, man.
Our ear to the streets lead reported. He texted me saying that the Titans are out on Shedeur and that Cam Ward is all but set to be the number 1 pick. Completely out. That was the source's words. The Titans are completely out on Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward is a Titan. Titans and Shedeur Sanders agree to cancel his upcoming private workout. So how we feeling, man? How we feeling about Cam Ward? And also, do y'all think there's any chance that he won't be the first pick? All reports, though, seem to indicate that he will.
I don't see it.
No, I don't think
see it.
there's any chance they don't.
That's definitely the pick. They're locked in. They better get it right. You fuck around and don't take a quarterback here, Tennessee. You know what I mean?
The mailman, Will Levis, is still on the roster.
Hey, look at this. This is just as sure as 10 years ago when they had the number 2 overall and they were like, God damn it, we're getting our guy, Marcus Mariota. You know what I mean? That's what this feels like, kind of. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying.
And an infamous Winston was the first
caliber
pick
of player.
to
I'm talking about
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm talking about is more so. It seems familiar is because you got someone like the Titans who are they're just set on they're going to get their guy. You know what I mean? Same way Jameis, they knew Tampa knew they were going to get Jameis. They knew they were going to get Mariota that year. They had this. That was the last time the Titans was actually up there with the opportunity. Actually, matter of fact, the following year, 2016, they were shitty again. They had another high pick, but they traded it to the Eagles, and they took Carson Wentz with that pick. So the Tennessee Titans, since then, they haven't really picked a high-end QB. I think this is their chance to have a franchise guy, and it's a new regime in their second year, so they get to actually have a chance with their guy of their choosing. Who wants Levis,
Right, yeah, his mayonnaise is going to be it. It's going to be a perfect backup.
I don't know. He might get beat up. They might. Didn't they bring in Brandon Allen? Oh, no. Where's Brandon Allen at now?
Yeah, he went to Tennessee.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. See? He played behind Joe Burrow in that system for a while. So, you know what I mean? Will Levis is gone, man.
You gotta go Cam Ward. I don't think anyone is gonna have a problem with that pick, even if it doesn't work out to be he's a superstar. Like that's the pick. You gotta go. You need a quarterback in the NFL to win, and on a rookie deal to really have a greater chance. So this resets them. They get the 5 years. Go get Cam Ward, man. No, don't overthink it.
Kid's good too,
and he's a baller.
Yeah, I think it'd be shocking if they did not take him or if they traded or anything like that at this point. Like, it'd just be insane.
Right? In an unprecedented turn of events, they cancel all the high-end first-round meetings with all the high-end players, and then they trade down. Like, everything they're doing outside, they're doing everything but saying the first pick is Cam Ward. Like, that's going to be funny when they're on the clock. It's like, just put the pick is in.
The draft starts at number 2. That's
right, yeah, and they're gonna milk it like they did. I remember the Caleb Williams last year. It was like they just kept milking it. It's like they waited all.
He was still painting his nails back there. He was like, "Hold on, it's only been 13 minutes."
That's for TV. That's for TV, though. That's for ratings.
Yeah, definitely.
That is true.
It's definitely because it's like they've had the whole off season to think about this. It's clearly just for ratings.
Jerry Jones is the one too. They got to hold on, Jerry. He's about to put the pick right away.
But I
won't. His pick right now at 12. He's like, dibs on McMillan.
Yeah, or Gianti. Gianti might be going. Actually, I do have the Cowboys taking a running back, so spoiler alert there. I'm not going to say who it will be, but we do have the Cowboys taking a running back. So Derek, stay strapped in because I think I almost said that's a shout out to Derek and Lee in the chat today in the Genwell Conglomerate talking about like different scenarios in the draft about what the Cowboys might do and stuff. And then I'm just going to go down the rabbit hole all the way and do a full first round mock. So
yeah, I like your thinking.
Yeah, so let's move. Yeah, for sure. So let's move on to number 2. We're all in agreement that Cam Moore is going number 1 to Tennessee. So the Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and I believe they'll also turn in their pick fairly quickly and go with Abdul Carter, the top pass rusher from Penn State. Shedeur Sanders, I don't think they're going to go QB here. It'll be tempting, but I think that they're going to go after Corky Kirk Cousins as a veteran stopgap and maybe take a QB on day 2. But I just think with the scenario of adding Abdul Carter opposite Myles Garrett, your identity becomes, ferocious pass rush. And in that division with Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, you could counter them with that ferocious pass rush. And Abdul Carter seems to check all the boxes. So I think they're going to go edge here and then go with Abdul Carter. And Travis Hunter's the other potential scenario. But I feel like Carter would next to Garrett, I feel like is probably a little higher upside. Hunter, obviously, with his 2-way upside, could be insane. But I just think that Carter it seems like the tea leaves are blowing toward him being the pick. So that's who I'm going with.
Give me a comp. Give me a player comp.
Abdul Carter, Von Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, just imagine Von Miller and Myles Garrett.
I like it.
That. I don't know if that's just a loose comp. I wouldn't but that's
Von Miller I think was number 2 pick in his big
I like it. That's a great comp. Yeah, I mean.
If you're number 2, it better be.
Right. You couldn't go wrong if you took him and paired him up with Gary. I think they can go a lot of ways here and not really miss. The question I ask is that if you really pass on Shedeur here and you're like, what if the Kirk Cousins thing, what if Atlanta's really stingy on keeping him like they say, like they sound like they are, if it's not Kirk Cousins, what else are you doing at quarterback? Because can he pick it? Even if it's a rookie in the second round, I don't know, man. I think the smart thing to do is take the quarterback here, even though the other 2 guys are definitely better players, but they've been so bad at quarterback for so long that it's like you got a chance right here to get one.
They've also been so bad at drafting quarterback.
And with that said, I feel like they would make the choice and if they go QB, it would be the one that they shouldn't take. So give me Jackson Dart here.
Jackson Dart, baby. Actually, speaking of Jackson Dart, I mean, with a scenario I could see happening is, Pittsburgh at 21 could take Jackson Dart for sure if he falls.
Yeah, that's more realistic than mine.
And what could happen, though, at Cleveland, though, is that they own pick 33, first pick in the second round. They theoretically could jump up to 20 and block Pittsburgh and take Jackson Dart in front of them. The only issue, like Lee brought up, they gave up so much for freaking Watson that they still are kind of behind on picks to where maybe them trading down from 2 could be the move. Then they could recoup some of those picks and then not have to, go totally bonkers on Shedeur or Dart. If they trade down, they could take Shedeur or Dart and have a bunch of extra picks. But, then you obviously lose out on the potential generational talent in Abdul Carter.
Think about this. If there's an organization that really views Shedeur as their guy for the future, they will pay up versus a team that wants to move up to get Carter. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, this is their chance, especially after the Watson trade. Like, they gave up so much.
It's like, people really go crazy for QBs. It's just the reports, though, are saying that the Browns, they're not really messing with wanting to take Shedeur at 2. It seems like that Shedeur stock is falling.
That sounds like a Cleveland thing.
How do you feel about Hunter, though?
I think it's possible they go Hunter. I think it's kind of neck and neck. I just feel like, though, that I think they're going to go Carter because I feel like him next to Von Miller, Myles Garrett would be so nasty, and it would really establish their identity as a team that's just like really good up front and has a ferocious pass rush. And I mean, if you have that identity like that, it gives you a chance. And if you can get a veteran like a Kirk Cousins in there with a Stefanski, who's a solid play caller there, and you could probably win with a lot of ground and pound defensive kind of football with that. And I feel like if you take Shedeur here, it's kind of a signal that it's a rebuild at that point. Where if you take Abdul Carter here, you're saying, okay, we could compete maybe even as soon as this coming season. Because if you take Shedeur, I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit before he can hang with freaking Burrow and Lamar. And then Pittsburgh, if they had Aaron Rodgers, it's like Cleveland at that point would clearly be the bottom feeder. But if they take Abdul Carter here, that tells me that, okay, maybe they're retooling as opposed to rebuilding.
I mean, how long of a leash do you think Stefanski has as a head coach there, even though he's only like, I mean, we're not far removed from him being the 2023 coach of the year. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think he's on, and because if you were to convince me that he has a longer leash, then they probably do go QB here, or they try everything in their power to trade back in to get another QB. Like you said, they're high up in the second, and maybe you can, then move up. But it just sucks because no one probably wants to help the Browns either. You know what I mean? Like, right. I think a lot of these organizations are pissed. They're like, why are we going to help you fix your mistakes? You pay, because they fucked up the market for a little while there with the guarantees for QBs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I feel like
still to this day.
Yeah, they're still feeling the pain from it. I mean, Watson's still on their damn roster.
The whole NFL is still feeling the pain from the fully guaranteed contract because now every QB expects that.
Yeah, and Corky Kirk was quietly doing it for a little while without asking for
I think he was
much.
The first.
He was just you know what I mean? He was just getting the guaranteed things, and then here comes Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, the short-term guarantees. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Watson thing was so insane because at the time it was like he still wasn't like fully cleared, I don't think, from I think he still had a few lawsuits hanging over him and stuff, but they were just like, screw it, we're paying him fully guaranteed. I'm just so glad my Saints didn't get stuck with that because my Saints were part of the bidding as well as the Atlanta Falcons. I wish it had been the Falcons that got stuck with it.
And you know what's crazy too with the Falcons is that because he's from Atlanta and he really wanted to go to them, but then it's kind of crazy when it's like when you start seeing those teams that you think would be clamoring for a QB like that, they were passing on him, and then like Atlanta and like the Saints. And then here comes freaking the Browns are like, it's our chance. You know what I mean? It's our chance.
He went there. I think he'd have chosen Atlanta or the Saints, but then when they did
he had a lot of
offered him the fully guaranteed thing, he was like, I'll take that. That I can pay off any settlements that I have come up.
Exactly.
This fully guaranteed bag. Hello, ladies. Yeah, here's your bag. Leave me alone.
I mean, that's why I think it would be smart for Cleveland to not go that route of trying to pay a veteran, expensive quarterback again. Just get your quarterback right here. You got him for 5 years under contract. Cheap deal. That seems to me to be the smartest route for them to do it. But they are Cleveland, and they might get.
I do think that GM
fascinated by that pass rush. Might be too much for them to pass on and get the eye candy, which I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think that regime is kind of desperate to try to win now, and so instead of going through the pain of a rebuild, I think they're going to go ahead and take the piece that they think gives them a chance to try to win games.
And they're going to try to trade for Cousins and go at it with Cousins and Pickett. Watch.
I think so.
Unless they trade back in and get
that puts, but their destiny is not in their hands at that point, even no matter what. So this they control their destiny with this one. That one they're banking on. If Kirk Cousins don't work out, then what?
But it's also
Kenny Pickett, baby.
This is living in the world that Stefanski knows. It's now or never. You know what I mean? because he could be
I
on
mean,
the way out.
Shedeur is ready to go right now. He's not a project. He's not raw. He's ready to go.
Do you
Yeah,
buy into
the Browns aren't though.
early in the offseason? Do you remember Senior Sanders, Senior Prime? He said, "No son of mine will play for Cleveland." I kind of tend to believe
That might be the biggest factor right there.
Yeah, I was about to say that's another thing. Like if Cleveland does take him, then they might pull an Archie Manning, and then Dion will go up there and be like, "My son is not playing for y'all. Trade him right now because he will hold out and not play for your sorry ass organization."
He tells Goodell, "Don't you announce that name." You know what I mean?
If my son is on the same roster as Deshaun motherfucking Watson, then we gonna have a problem.
He's going to make the call to Jerry Jones and
That's
make
exactly
the trade.
how he sounds.
Coach Prime, bro. Oh yeah, he's gonna make the call to Uncle Jerry, and Uncle Jerry's gonna give up a gang of picks. Then trade Dak to Cleveland. That would actually be Cleveland's best scenario if they want to win now. Trade the 2 pick to Dallas, get Dak, and boom, there you go. You have a better chance to win now. I feel like Stephen Jones though would do his very best to try to block that. He would try to tackle Uncle Jerry and be like, "No!"
When he tried to draft Johnny Manziel. That's the story when Jerry wanted to draft Manziel.
Yeah. Steven stepped in and
he said, I called George Bush Sr. and his lovely wife to that pro day. I'm drafting him. Remember, he had the Bushes there watching Johnny Manziel at the pro day. Who has a random not just a random George Bush Sr. That's some shit.
HW.
I really like that Johnny Manziel.
You know they call him Johnny Football.
So Cleveland, it can't go wrong if they go Abdul Carter. That's a good pick either way.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked there.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's move on to the Giants now. Another team that could potentially take Shedeur Sanders, but I have Shedeur falling even further because at number 3, the New York Giants select Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, Colorado.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, they need a corner also.
Right? Yeah, they could use cornerback for help for sure. And I mean, with receiver, it's like you got Malik Neighbors, but outside of him, you got Wandale, Slayton, and not a whole lot else. So you could for sure use some more pass catching chops. And Travis, I think, could do this 2-way thing. I mean, I don't think you get a full allotment of offensive snaps, but he could. Yep, he could definitely. He could definitely get some valuable reps and do his thing with that 2-way thing. Pause.
I mean, it's
they need everything. They need everything, man. The Giants need everything.
With Russ and Jameis going over there now, it looks like that quarterback. I mean, it would look weird if you take quarterback now, after signing both of those guys.
Is that really someone who seems secure in his job? Like, does that guy seem secure in his job? I'm like, Brian Daboll, this is interesting. It's like, he's like, okay, go give me a former Super Bowl champion and then Jameis.
Couple veterans.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
and they're gonna take the best player and try it. Yeah, he's fighting for his job. That definitely, if it was like a rookie coach coming in, you know what I mean? Then maybe they might just reset, which I think is, if it doesn't work out, that's what they're gonna do next year, But that definitely seems to be influencing, because I still don't understand. Like, they need a quarterback. Like, Cleveland and New York are the spots where I'm like, you need a quarterback, and Shedeur is not like a blue chip prospect, but I mean, I think he's good. I think he's going to be,
he's good on basis of comparison.
Stabilize the ship, and he's a draw. Like, you want your quarterback to be somebody that
got to put the Cowboys in.
Well, stay tuned for that, because where I have Shedeur landing, part of my logic for that landing spot is because he'd be a draw. Stay tuned; it'll be coming up in about 6 picks.
But yeah,
for the Giants though. It's like like you said, they need a quarterback, and like your job's likely on the line, and he's better than what you have. Like, it makes sense. But I agree with you. I don't think they're going to do it.
Nope, they're the New York Giants. You know,
I just want
Saquon
Jameis
was
to
like, get rid
start
of
for
Saquon.
fantasy.
This guy's holding our team back. We don't need Saquon anymore.
Just put Jameis in there for fantasy and call it a day.
I remember like when they drafted Daniel Jones, I don't remember where he was in like rankings for like quarterbacks in the draft, but I know they skipped like 6 quarterbacks to choose him.
He was that was definitely I remember a little bit of a shock for sure.
Yeah. Like everyone was shocked by that pick.
Everybody, they had them taking Dwayne Haskins actually too, and he was like, he was seen wearing the New York Giants hoodie, and he was, he's a known New York Giants fan growing up. Then they draft Daniel Jones, and like, he even said when he was, because all that, and rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, by the way. But when all that shit happened to him, he was saying like, they was telling me they were going to draft me, and then they announced Daniel Jones. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
They had 2 picks in the first round that year.
Yep, but Travis Hunter's a good guy to take there if you're not taking the quarterback side.
Yeah,
it's like last year. Neighbors was a baller. They passed on quarterback last year. Who they pass on? Penix and Bo Nix and
McCarthy.
When did Nevers get drafted last year?
It was sixth overall.
Wow. So he took
overall.
They took him over all them QBs. Okay.
Yeah, because the top 3 last year was such a QB heavy draft. The top 3 were all QBs. Caleb, Jaden,
I guess it was
Drake,
their
May.
last shot. It was their last good look at Danny Dumbass, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that didn't.
They're
last.
like, now we got you a weapon. Show us what you got now. We got your Nevers. You know what I mean?
We paid you
and then in Neighbors, he called him Daniel Dones when he's like, oh yeah, we got the quarterback, Daniel Dones.
And that was the moment we all found out Malik Neighbors was dyslexic.
He can fucking ball though. Shout out to Youngsville, Louisiana, man. Como High, Malik Neighbors, man. He went to my alma mater. He didn't graduate from there though. He transferred, but he kind of played himself because he got ruled ineligible his senior year of high school, but obviously that did not matter in the grand scheme of things. He is doing quite well for himself these days.
Yeah.
Shout out to Malik, man, from my part of town. It's crazy to think about it, man. He literally grew up like just less than probably like 10, 15 minutes from me.
That's cool. Yeah, I know.
Man. He's a true South Louisiana native, and like he's repping a strong, man. We've got so many local products in the NFL. They got him, and we got Keon Coleman, man. That boy doing ads and shit for the fucking hotels because of his accent. He's always like, man, go and book with Priceline, man. You could end up out in the ocean like me. That dude's such a character, bro. Yeah.
Keon Coleman's the fastest offensive lineman in the NFL.
Right? Yeah, he's a big boy, bro. He played basketball too. I
need him to learn how to catch a ball.
He could throw down some ferocious dunks, but
he needs to learn how to
catch a hell of an athlete. But yeah, I know, right?
The wrong sport.
Right? Yeah, he needs to go back to basketball.
See, that's how they got to do it. They got what was the coach name in Waterboy? Mr. Coach Klein. So Mr. Coach Klein would tell him, listen, you got to visualize like it's basketball, okay? We're going to throw you the ball, and you just dunk it. You take it to the house.
Yeah, like Jimmy Graham. That's what Jimmy Graham did all those years.
Yeah. The alley-oop.
If I was Josh Allen, listen, I'll pay the fine, bro. Just take it to the house. Do something. Do something. Yeah. I vouch for you.
All right. Yeah, Keon Coleman must buy in Dynasty.
Never.
Yeah, I don't know. Man. The Bills receiving core is a mess. We'll get to them toward the end. But yeah, Travis Hunter. I think if it's either him or Shedeur here, and the way it's looking, it looks like with Russ and Jameis in there, and considering Daboll is fighting for his job, I think he goes with the player similar to Cleveland, goes with the player that gives him a better chance to win as soon as this season, and that'd be Travis Hunter.
If it goes this way, I know both sides of the ball. If it goes the way the 1, 2, 3 like you have it, the New England Patriots are going to be very upset that they didn't.
I know, right? Yeah. Speaking of the New England Patriots, yeah, good segue because at number 4, the New England Patriots, after failing to trade down, have decided, well, we really do need our offensive line to be better. We don't want our rookie Drake, our second-year QB Drake May, to get killed back there. So with the number 4 pick, New England selects Armand. I don't know how to say his last name. Membu. Thank you, Steamboat.
Missouri kid.
Armand Membu, Missouri offensive tackle. The consensus number 1 offensive tackle. Some had Will Campbell number 1, but with his arm length concerns, Membu is ascended to be in the consensus number 1 OT, and New England really needs a left tackle. And so I think here is they just draft for need and lock this pick in, because I mean, now that you got him, Drake May, you got Diggs there at receiver, some other promising young receivers too. You probably draft another receiver on day 2 potentially, but you really need to shore up your O-line, and I think this pick does just that.
I like the pick. Yeah, no, they were originally linked to Will Campbell, but so offensive line is definitely a can't miss pick for them here. Whoever gets Will Campbell is going to be so happy. This arm length conversation just went crazy. Yeah, he's literally gonna drop. He was supposed to go here at 4. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where he'll end up.
Come to the Niners.
It's this arm length thing it's like you can't mention Will Campbell's name without mentioning his arm length now.
And
now
you're gonna start seeing memes of him. He's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right, and he's only an 1/8 of an inch short of the supposed ideal length. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. There was a quarterback about like 4 years ago that he dropped because all they talked about was his hand size.
Oh yeah,
Kenny Pickett. That was Kenny Pickett. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, old small hands, 2 gloves. Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
and that actually proved to be right. He's a bust.
Excuse me.
Well, yeah, sure, but I don't think it has anything to do with his hands.
Oh yeah, sure.
Put some respect on his name.
Super Bowl. Yeah, he got to play
in the
ring
Super Bowl. Size.
Yeah, they saved money on that ring.
He wears the ring and looks like it looks like one of them old 1980s rappers joints. It's just his whole hand.
It goes over 2 fingers.
There it is. It's like a 4-finger ring. You know what I mean? His Super Bowl ring fits his whole hand.
Right.
He's got the hands for arm, or what's his name? Armstrong. We were just talking about.
Grab my hand. What was Brett from Scary Movie?
Oh yeah.
My hand.
Grab my strong hand.
Strong hand.
Yeah.
That's Will Campbell. No, but Membu's a beast though. Like that's a good pick. He's the one who benefited most from all this small arm talk because he just became the consensus pretty much number 1 tackle.
Oh yeah,
because he has regular standard arms.
So if it does go this way, where Hunter and Carter are gone, then I do agree with this pick here. Membu at 4,
the best available player.
Man, I just can't imagine like going through all of your high school, middle school, college career, and you're like the best offensive lineman to do it, and then they're like, yeah, but like your arms are just a little too short, so
it's so petty.
But I play football,
and then you got this exchange. You got an exchange student, right? He's straight from like Wakanda, you know what I mean? And they're like, he's a specimen. And you ever play football? He's like, no, I come to America for opportunity. Boom, boom, boom. Number 1 draft pick. You know what I mean? Like,
is that Membu?
Just because the motherfucker's a specimen for real though.
Yeah.
He's from Wakanda.
Like, wait, how long are his arms?
I would draft anyone from Wakanda. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, Membu is arm is a 33.5.
Man.
With these 33 and a inch and a half pythons, brother. What you gonna do?
Yeah, no, that whole arm
conversation. What was the other dude? Campbell was his? Pause.
32 7/8.
Oh man, that's trash.
Is that even an arm?
That extra
short,
eighth.
Man.
If you don't have that extra eighth. Oh my god. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about that could really do it. But I mean that's just scouting for you. Like measurables are a huge thing in this shit. And it's just every year we see motherfuckers fall or rise in the draft because of 40 times and we just see it all the time with this shit.
Now, one day Campbell is gonna be there on a goal line stand where they're going for it on fourth and needed to pound this thing in for the win for the Super Bowl. And that he's going to press up on that D line, but his arms is just that too short.
Stupid.
They're going to be an
stop
eighth
him on
of
fourth down.
They're going to be an eighth of an inch short to scoring the touchdown.
And we're gonna have the chips by then this year, right? So they're like, oh, they're short by an eighth of an inch.
I can already see it happening now in super slow mo. It just his hands lifting, coming to a
Full
stop right
extension.
before the guy.
If only his arms were 33 inches.
That's how dramatic the conversation is. So you're not wrong.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think it's
and then someone smart in the room goes, "You're right. We don't want that."
falls out of the first
Drops
round.
them on the big board.
He's like, you're right. I will
just
not
throw it
have
off the
that
big board.
on my team. Will not have that freak show on my team.
I don't give a fuck if you got us to the Super Bowl.
My gosh. So
We'll see where
anyway.
Will Campbell goes. Okay, so Membu at 4. Who do you
Yeah,
have going
we're
next?
on the 5, and I think this one, if this dude falls to Jacksonville, who picks 5, I think it's pretty clear that they're going to go Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. They definitely need help up front in their defense there, and I think this is a slam dunk pick. He fills a need, and he's best player available here. I just think with the Patriots, like, you know, some people might argue Graham's a little bit better prospect than Membu, but I just think the Patriots need an offensive line more than they need defensive line. And so I think the Jaguars here are celebrating because, I mean, they could use O-line help too, but I think D tackle's probably their biggest need. And then with Mason Graham being such an elite prospect, I feel like this is a slam dunk, can't miss kind of pick.
They need O-line too. Jacksonville.
Yeah, so if
Yeah, because like they traded away Cam Robinson, who was one of their best O linemen at the time, but they were just like, we need to get something because they're not going to pay him. And then Minnesota, they were like in kind of disparity last year when they lost Christian Dursall and they immediately traded for Cam Robinson. So it was like, yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to do on that line, or maybe they traded him because they like what their replacement. Who knows? But I'm with that. I mean, should they definitely need? They've been trying to figure that spot out for a minute. They brought in Armstead last year, but yeah, with a lot of high-end DTs, I think Jacksonville could be one of the ones that snaps it off first.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, my bad. Y'all not sure what happened there, but we are back. And so, yeah, I think this one's pretty cut and dry. I was saying before I got cut off there that Membu, since they need O-line, Membu then would probably be pick 5 if New England goes Graham, but I just see it playing out this way as we discussed why we think in New England. So, but yeah,
that's probably the safest pick for them to go, Mason Graham probably. But I mean, they did kind of get rid of a bunch of offensive players this year. So I mean, originally a few weeks ago I talked to Bugs. I thought McMillan was kind of an option for them here. If you got rid of Kirk, you got rid of Ingram, and but they definitely would be wise to go Graham, but McMillan, from what I've been hearing, though, he's falling on mocks and on draft boards. He's not like the surefire like top 5-10 pick like we thought. So
yeah, I got McMillan falling pretty far.
If there's some truth to that, and maybe there's something about him that we don't know, where he might not be as good as we thought, then it's definitely good to go safe here. They'll have a hell of a line there with Graham, and then you got the 2 edge rushers and Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
I'm definitely not mad at that. You can't ever lose by winning in the trenches.
Yeah, and then you got Olakun,
Devin Lloyd,
their linebackers, and then Devin Lloyd did that. Yeah, that's their glaring weakness right there, and that's why we kind of love those linebackers, because they get up, our running backs get up to that second level. Like, we're starting all the running backs against Jacksonville for years. We're starting all the linebackers in Jacksonville for years. So let's see. We got a new regime coming in there. I did like the idea of the McMillan thing early on when Steamboat Joe was telling me about this months ago, because it was like, okay, you are going to have a system that's going to hyper target like two weapons at least. You know what I mean? I mean, he's, that's the system that in Tampa Bay that's going over there, obviously having a Chris Godwin and a Mike Evans. So I don't think it's far-fetched that they still look weapon there, but maybe maybe early in the second round. You know what I mean? I think a lot of those receivers that people like are going to fall. That position is going to fall in its entirety altogether, I think.
Maybe they believe in Gabe Davis still. I mean, they gave him a bag last year, so I mean, he's still there.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
What's crazy? Gabe Davis is a big, giant target too, and then what's his name? Still finds a way to overthrow him. You know what I mean? Big windup that Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but Mason Graham, I think that's probably the safest pick for them there. You can't be over criticized and make that D line pretty formidable. So I like it.
Do we say formidable or do
Formidable.
we say horrible?
I don't want to say like they're going to be great just because they get them, but I mean they should be solid. You know what I mean? Ready?
Oh! You said formidable.
Yeah, if they take Mason Graham.
Okay, I thought you said I was asking if you said formidable or horrible. I was like, damn. I was like, Diamond Joe ain't holding back today. Like, they're going to be horrible.
McMillan screwed himself by saying he don't. Yeah, that's really what happened. Tedoroto McMillan says he doesn't watch video.
Oh, what a dumbass.
He
said he's not. He asked, "Are you a fan of football?" Like, nah, not really. Like, man, you watch film? He's just like a natural. He's just a natural that just like he plays it, but it's just you know what the thing is though? Check this out. I mean, not to like, you know, I'm not saying this is like always good, but like for example though, like Nikola Jokic, like is a very nonchalant kind of dude, but I mean the motherfucker's best player in the whole NBA. So I mean, I know football's a different beast as far as watching film, but I mean you gotta watch film too in basketball, and it's like, I mean, a guy like Jokic, just because you kind of have a nonchalant, I don't care attitude, that doesn't necessarily matter, because if you're just that physically talented, you know, it can make up for it. And also this video, I believe, was from 2 years ago of Tet McMillan, and he may have just been talking shit or whatever, to where, like, I think is more of an issue of that this is just a weak receiver class, to where, like, I think this dude is worth a pick around in the teens. It's just one of those things to where, I mean, those comments obviously aren't going to help his stock, but I think none of the receivers here are like up with like a Jamar Chase or Malik Neighbors or anything. This is just a weak class for receivers, and we've gotten spoiled the past few years because we've had all these elite receiver classes, and this year it's finally kind of come back to earth. But
it's the running back class that should be crazy, right?
No, exactly. Yeah, that's a good segue, Bogey, because speaking of the running back class, at number 6, I've got him going off the board, baby. Ashton Jeanty to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders get their workhorse running back. They lost Josh Jacobs last offseason. It was a total disaster. Freaking Zeus White did not pan out like we were thinking, so they need a running back so bad. Sincere McCormick was okay down the stretch, but he'd be better served as a backup. They brought in Radio Raheem Mostert, but he's no longer a starting caliber back these days. They need help.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, nice. Radio Raheem, right, Bogey? Yeah, they're the ones that signed Mostert.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, on a cheap one-year deal, because they lost Madison. They essentially swapped Madison and Radio Raheem.
Yeah, and Madison went over to the Dolphins. And
right. Yeah, Madison's now with the Dolphins.
You know, I had some thoughts too with the with this pick, because like, man, you got Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly there. You know what I mean? Like they're like, all right, starts with the run. You know what I mean? Like, first order of business, running back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
they got the quarterback now, and then they gave him an extension. So.
Yeah, I don't think they're going quarterback. I mean, Shedeur might be tempting, but it's one of those things to where I think this is a team that they're going to want to try to win ASAP. I mean, Tom Brady's over there. Pete Carroll, I mean, these are guys that are accustomed to winning. And so, you know, I just think it's one of those things. They brought Geno in, and this is a piece. Like, I mean, we saw it with Bijan. I mean, if a running back is truly a game changer, teams aren't going to be shy about taking him high in the first round. And I think Jeanty is someone that is deserving of this. I know he wasn't facing SEC competition, but he was so dominant, and he just got that complete 3-down skill set to where I feel like the Raiders are going to have to do it. I just think he's got more upside than a McMillan. I mean, a McMillan is tempting here because they also need receiver help badly, but I just think a Genty here makes the most sense.
They got Brock. That's
Yeah, I
their
mean, you
number
got
one.
Bowers. I mean, you got an elite pass catcher in Bowers at tight end. You know, Jacoby, my baloney has a first name. Myers is pretty decent. You know, he's no number one, but I mean, he could get this receiver class is, you know, it's one of those, there's going to be a lot of guys that go on day 2. You can get a solid receiver on a day 2 where a Genty, I mean, this is a deep running back class, but it's like, I just think he's the clear top dog, and you need the position so badly. You need a game changer here. I mean, because no one on that roster is a starting caliber running back. So
I'm gonna like Jacoby Myers, my baloney has the first name. If they don't,
I know, right? Yeah.
yeah, if they don't bring in anybody like of note in this draft, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna be a good value.
Yeah, no, Genty's he's electric. He's the guy, you know, like the numbers he was putting up, man. That guy was in a quarter or 2 quarters would have 3 50-yard runs, you know, to start the game. He's housing them, bro. So he's the guy that can really put people in the seats there and have them, like, you know what I mean, put some excitement on the team. You know, it's probably not smart if you have to draft a running back here at 6 with how deep.
I mean, look at the age of the regime. You got Pete Carroll. He's like, all right, me and Gino to the grave. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you know what I mean? This is his last go at it. I think that, you know, and then he has the formula. You get the defense together and then run the ball like hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a good pick. It's not a bad pick, but there is a lot of running backs in this draft that are solid. So, you know, if they weren't going running back here though,
because pass rush opposite of Max Crosby would be just as nasty too. If you know what I mean. But I mean, obviously in this mock we got Carter off the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but Genty.
Yeah, Carter ain't falling in him. There's no way.
Yeah. And that if Genty goes there, that people in fantasy will love that. That'll be great for him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Pete Carroll, man. I mean, you know, he
Pete
loved to pound the rock. Exactly. I mean, with Beastquake, Chris Carson. I mean, he saw the Seahawks with Pete Carroll. It was always. I mean, it was Kenneth Walker. That was Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker. He got all of it too. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I just think this is one of those
Even
things. Even
Rashad Penny got all of it when he got his little chance.
And he'll be unchallenged for touches over there, essentially, as much as he can handle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pause. It's so that would be the best situation for Genty to go there for sure. So we'll see. I mean, but you did make the point though. Chip Kelly might be like, we can get one of the Ohio State guys in the second round.
And wait.
And get another, you know, player here. So we'll see what they do. They're going to be interesting where their heads at with the new regime here. Pete and Chip.
They
Chip Kelly calling the plays. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Mark Davis' son or grandson or nephew or something, but it's like a 12-year-old that's in his family. He was like, you better draft Ashton Genty. And like that was like a tabloid for a second there. That was a blurb that was floating around. Like, you know, Mark Davis is just, you don't know what the fuck he's doing, man.
The one thing I have learned though, that these college running backs that just go crazy and tear shit up, they do it in the NFL, especially if they're drafted in the top 15, the top 10, top 5. These are the ones that are special. So he might be one of them. So yeah, go get him, Raiders. Go get him. I won't be mad.
Yeah, I just think it makes the most sense for them to do this because, I mean, it's something that when they lost Jacobs, I mean, it was clear that they did not have a good solution behind him. And so this is going to be the thing that gets them right. So let's move on to Kitty Cat's New York Jets. And I have the Jets in a similar spot to the Raiders in that they really need a certain position on offense, and that's tight end. And this is a strong tight end class with 2 elite prospects in the class there. And Colston Loveland and the guy I have going here to the Jets is having Tyler Warren from Penn State. I think the Jets go ahead and take Tyler Warren, get the tight end position shored up. I don't know if he's got quite as much upside as Brock Bowers, but he does have a lot of upside. and he's someone that I think will make an immediate impact, give Justin Fields a reliable weapon there, and help Garrett Wilson out, man, where teams aren't able to just double and triple team him. Give the Jets another threat besides just what do they call him? Gumby? I think that was his nickname there. Gumby Garrett Wilson. I mean, shit. Like, he needs some help because fucking Devontae Adams is out of there. And, I mean, the two of them together were killing it. But I still think G-Dub could do pretty well with Tyler Warren. Granted, Fields not the most accurate passer, but, I mean, they got to get him some help. You know, you got to give the
Fields
kid a
does that.
chance.
He has a history of utilizing his tight ends in the red zone, so we do like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he had a Moose. He had who was it, Cole Kmet, you know? So it's like.
Yeah, and when you think about this too, like this landing spot does give us a chance to continue to have a rookie tight end be viable in fantasy, because like this is a spot where he would walk into a starting role, obviously, and yeah, with the amount of pass attempts, I think that they'll have, hovering around 35 to 40 a game, because I don't really see them being a good team all around. You know what I mean? I kind of like it.
Tyler Warren, huh? I mean, he's worthy of the 7 pick. I just think the Jets need to go just get a lineman. Go get Will Campbell. Don't do anything. This is a flash.
Arms are too short, man.
This feels flashy a little bit for them, even though I have heard him linked to them here. And he is that damn good of a player. But I don't know. Justin Fields, like, what do you need, a tight end? Like, do you really need just do something safe, Jets, because you usually do dumb things. And this could end up being a pick that doesn't. Maybe he looks overvalued a little bit. But he is the top guy on the board. I like the other guy, the next guy too, but the tight end on the board. But good pick here. I think if you're the Jets, though, go do something safe. Get an offensive lineman.
I think this is actually a fairly safe pick in that, like, they really need a tight end, and also, like, he seems to be a pretty slam dunk type of prospect. I believe on the ESPN big board, he was the number 6 consensus ranked prospect among everybody. So I don't see this being super risky, honestly. I mean, I guess I see your point in that offensive lineman. It tends to be a better hit rate than, when you take a tight end early. I mean, as we saw with Kyle Pitts, it doesn't always work out. I mean, not everyone's going to be Brock Bowers. So you have a point in that the position itself tends to be riskier. But I just think with the Jets, they really need this. They need a game-breaking type weapon, especially the tight end spot, since they basically have nothing there. I mean, Conklin left, not that he was anything special, but I think their starter is supposed to be a Jeremy Ruckert, who has shown nothing as a pass catcher. But I mean, he'd be a good backup, I'm sure. But I just think he needs something like this to really, change the game at that position. And I mean, the offensive line for sure could use help, but I just feel like, this is one of those things to where they taking the weapon isn't always a bad thing. I mean, look at the Bengals. Jamar Chase, everyone got on him for taking him instead of Penei Sewell. I don't think they are regretting that move. I mean, Penei Sewell's also a stud.
They got to the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I guess my point is that, like, I just feel like they need to do this because they had a chance to get Bowers last year and they took the O lineman instead, Olu Fashanu. And I just think this year they're going to just go ahead and take the weapon.
Now, let me ask you this. If you're a Jets fan, or are you just happy with Justin Fields? Because Shedeur is there. I mean, Justin Fields is on a little 2-year, what is it, $20 million?
It's a glorified 1-year deal because his guarantees are $30 million.
You're not, like, tied to Justin Fields. Like, the Jets like to make headlines. You know that.
Oh, is this be a potential Shedeur landing?
And their owner is an idiot.
Shedeur did have those cuts.
Yeah, he gets his kids to give him advice based off Madden ratings.
See?
That's not a bad idea.
And Shedeur did express that he wanted to go to New York and whatever.
Right.
What up, Albert?
They want, but I mean, what's his name? The tight end. That's a safe pick too. But man, it would be smart maybe go get a franchise quarterback. So, because you've just been missing, and is Justin Fields the answer? I don't know. I would still feel like you need a quarterback if you're the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Justin Fields a hell of a lot for fantasy. Tell you that much.
Sure.
But see, a lot of times though, and both of y'all know me very well. Y'all know me. I'll get hyped on a bad player because he's or a good player or a semi-good player in a bad situation. You know what I mean? Because I think the Jets is still a bad situation. So I think the Justin Fields experiment is for him to prove it. Otherwise, they're going to be in the same situation next year, maybe even potentially higher, or just let's just say they're back with another top 10 pick. They're going to be in the QB conversation if this is the case. You know what I mean?
You kind of
And
always
a lot
are
of
until
people
you're
do
not.
yeah, because he has a 2-year deal and 30 million is guaranteed, so that's basically 1 year. You know what I mean? Because even though
Yeah. Yeah, I think this year, I think they give Fields a shot this year, and then if he's, obviously, if he does good, they might extend him out. But if he stinks it up, then they will probably for sure take somebody next year. Which next year's QB class is supposed to be a little bit stronger, which is kind of why I see Shedeur and Jackson Dart slipping, because I think a lot of these teams are just kind of like, you know what, we'll ride it out with what we got for this year, and then if we do good, then cool.
you
But if
think
we
those guys
suck,
fall out of the first round?
I think one of them does. I think one might. Although, actually, I didn't project trades, but I could definitely see someone that picks later in the first round, trading down. And then the third one that falls, which in this scenario would be Dart. I have Dart falling. I could definitely see someone jumping. Like, for example, pick 20. Pick 20 is the Broncos, who I could see potentially trading down with, let's just say, the Browns, because the Browns, could be like, we're going to block the Steelers from getting a Jackson Dart or maybe even a Shedeur. I don't see Shedeur slipping that far. I'm actually about to reveal where I have Shedeur going, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on that.
Okay. Yeah, not mad. Ted McMillan might be an option here too. I mean, you got Devontae's gone now. You just got Garrett Wilson. Is Malachi Corley a guy you can count on as a 2? So that might be another name for them to look at here too. But who you got going 8th
For
to
sure.
Carolina?
Yeah, Carolina here. Gonna update the big board here for y'all. Which, by the way, a shout out to Neon Peacock, man. NeonPeacockMerch.com. Some super dope merch on there. Yeah, he's the fella for surely. Yeah, he gets it done for us, holds it down for the GWN and the Guru Nation. So shout out to Peacock, man. Head on over to NeonPeacockMerch.com. All right, pick number 8, y'all. There it is. We've gone through 7 here so far here, about an hour into the show. So we'll rock until we get through this first round. Jalen Walker, the edge / linebacker from Georgia. He's a little smaller than the other edge prospect they got there, Michael Williams. But I just think Walker is the one with a little more upside, a little more of a complete prospect. And I think he's a great fit for Carolina, a defense that really could use just a really just stud playmaker, someone that's good all around, a 3-down player. I see Jalen Walker being someone that hardly ever comes off the field. He'll slot in as a 3-4 outside linebacker for them. And in their hope, they better hope that their defense turns it around. They brought back their DC Double E. Do you know his name, Steamboat? Ijero, I think is his name. He was Denver's former DC. If anyone in the chat knows it, feel free to put it in, because Ijero Ivero, I think. I may not be pronouncing it right. If I'm not, my apologies. But bottom line is, my point is that he needs help. He needs talent there. They have not done a good job at giving him talent. And I think with this pick, though, they'll do that. They address their front line. They address their defensive line. Their front 3 should be a hell of a lot better. They extended J.C. Horn, hold down the secondary. So the linebacker is probably their biggest need. And I think Jalen Walker is going to be someone that will fill that void there for sure. Provide tackles, sacks. He's going to do it all. I believe that's what his profile says. And his scouting profiles seem to be pretty spot on nowadays. So I think he's the perfect fit here.
Yeah, no, they need playmakers on that defense. You know, they sent Brian Burns out a year ago, so they mean that was the kind of their guy on the edge. But you know, go replace him. Go. This Jalen Walker's one of the. I think after Abdul Carter, he's right there in the mix as the next best guy on the board for those edge rusher type guys. So they don't really need a ton on offense. You know, everyone always needs offensive linemen, I guess, but I like the pick, man. Top. That's go. They don't need a quarterback. The offense wasn't terrible, so you know they got some young receivers they've drafted, and Coker and who's the other guy? Leggett. You know, like
Yeah, yeah,
Adam Thielen. You know, Chuba kind of came into his own. So
that's
I
true.
mean, go start stacking up on that defense.
Right. Yeah, I could maybe see Tet, but I just feel like they need the defensive help more because their offense started to come on toward the end of last year. Their defense, man, that was a struggle bus. So I'm thinking that, Jalen Walker right here could be the move, and I think should be the move because you had enough promising playmakers there. I think Bryce Young will be able to survive with what they've got. Obviously, they could use more, could use better, but I think they'll be able to address that on day 2. And I think on day 1, they should go ahead and beef up their defense.
Yep, I agree. I like that one.
All right, here we go. The big reveal, my Saints. I wish Bogey was here. I'm sure he'll be back on to get the reaction here. But actually, let me go grab a beer real quick for this one because I'm gonna need a beer to get through this one because this is a tough one for me to decide. But I just felt like actually I'm gonna reveal it. Go grab a beer. Let Steamboat react to it, and then I'll be back. At
Who's the
number
pick, man?
9, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, my New Orleans Saints, in an attempt to generate buzz, sell tickets, and tell Derek Carr that his days are numbered. The Saints select Shedeur Sanders, baby. Let's
Wow, the
go.
ball is
I
over
will
for
be right
sure.
back to give my thoughts.
Yeah, you know this one. This is your highlight pick of the draft that you would look. I don't see it happening, but for New Orleans, if it's there for you, you know, you gotta go get that guy, bro. You're an ugly franchise. You know, Derek Carr is on the way out. You know, so Shedeur, if he's there for you at the Saints, you know, you guys hit a nice pick. So, you know what I mean? But I think they might be in play for Jackson Dart too here if Shedeur goes because Jackson Dart's on. He's got a big arm. You know, I see the numbers I've read on him. He's got the best deep ball pretty much in the draft. Like, so I mean, it'll be if Shador's here. Hey, you guys are gonna be celebrating it like it's Mardi Gras.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, he's gonna be our new franchise guy, and I mean, the fan base. I think this is gonna be the thing that re-energizes the Who Dat Nation, man. Because I mean, we're just sick and tired of Derek Carr. Everyone's like, "That's not our quarterback. That's not our quarterback." Well, we'll have gotten our quarterback if Shedeur falls, and I think at 9, it's a decent value because you're not having to trade up. You're not having to go give up a gang of picks. He just falls right in your lap. And you've got a full allotment of picks to go in the middle rounds and the later rounds to build around this kid. And I just feel like if you're the Saints, you've still got a good bit of veterans on the roster, but I think it's time to turn a new leaf, get the new era started. And I think that Mickey Loomis is going to get overridden again by Gail Benson because he didn't want to fire Dennis Allen. But guess what? The owner, Gail Benson, stepped in and said, "You're firing that Dennis Allen." And so the buck stops with her. She's the owner. She has the final say, and she's a businesswoman. She thinks in terms of what's going to get butts in the seats. And Shedeur Sanders will get people in the fucking seats. The season tickets will sell out if Shedeur Sanders is drafted. There will be so much hype surrounding this kid. Coach Prime's going to be down here in the Big Easy talking his shit. It's going to be headline after headline surrounding this team. The drama between him versus Derek Carr fighting for the starting job. Oh, my God. You know what? Bring it, man. At first, I was a little leery, but the more I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? It makes sense, man. It actually kind of makes sense for Shedeur to land with the Saints because I feel like it's just one of those things where it's just I just think it's the time's right for the Saints to start over at this position. And it's funny because Shedeur, they're saying about him not necessarily having the strongest arm. Is that right? That's all.
That's what. He's stronger in the intermediate game. Is one of the evaluations on him.
Mm-hmm. I guess. I guess who else would criticize for not having the strongest arm?
A lot of guys. Chad Pennington.
Drew motherfucking Brees.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, I do
always get on Brees about not having the deep ball, but I mean, guess what? He could throw the deep ball and need it. And the beauty of Brees is that his accuracy was so fucking spot on. I'm not saying Shedeur is going to be as accurate as Brees, but if accuracy is his strength, I mean,
you're calling him the Black Brees.
Hey,
Shedeur
he could be is the Black Brock Purdy. He's the Black Brock Purdy. That's kind of where
I like that. I like that comp a lot because that's always the comp you stuck by. Reminds me.
I mean, he doesn't do any. He's not elite at anything. He processes information fast. He's going to get the ball out. He knows what he's doing. You know, he's going to make the throw that needs to be made. Does he have the biggest arm? No. Is he most accurate? No. But I mean, he sees it.
He can manufacture a drive.
Exactly.
I think that's a great quality that they look for. You know what I mean? And him falling here, that's slam dunk.
Now let me ask you this.
I think he beats out Derek Carr.
Yeah, no. Say Shedeur is not there in a world where he's not there. What pick would you have made here?
Yeah, I was thinking. Honestly, I was thinking that Tet might be the pick here, Tet McMillan, because I mean we've got Chris Olave coming off 2 concussions. We've got Rashid Shaheed coming off a season-ending injury. 2 last year. Yeah, I think in total it's like 5 or 6. But
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Not good, folks. Yeah, no. It's just it's rough, man. We've got a lot of needs. I mean, cornerback. We could use cornerback help. We've drafted cornerbacks past few years. I mean, Adebo left in free agency. Lattimore left. We haven't drafted a first-round corner, though, I don't think, since Lattimore, and that was like 8 years ago or something. Yeah, so, I mean, I could definitely see the dude from Michigan or the dude from Texas, both of them boys being in play. You know, Saints definitely could use cornerback help. The boy from Texas is why can't I find Jade Brown, and the Michigan kid Will Johnson. So both of them I think would be in the mix. Maybe Matthew Golden, but I think Tet McMillan would be a better fit because we've got a lot of speed at the receiver positions. I think Tet McMillan would be the move if we went receiver. And then Will Campbell, I definitely think will be in the mix. I think Will Campbell, honestly, if it comes down to Shedeur and Will Campbell, that's going to be a tough decision because Will Campbell's another one that would be a popular pick because he's a Louisiana native through and through. He even said it'd be an honor to play for the Saints because he grew up in North Louisiana and then went to LSU. So, I mean, like, he's a Louisiana guy through and through. So I could see us going with
Can you
Will
imagine
Campbell,
that Campbell soup run for Will Campbell?
Right? Chunky.
Right? It'd be the Louisiana style chunky Campbell soup. What?
Right? Will Campbell style.
Will Campbell style.
Yeah, Will Campbell's style.
See, and there you go. And then it'd be like the cans on the go. You know what I mean? It'd be like a new promotion.
Most definitely.
Shorter.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of them deals to where, I just think that, but Shedeur here, I just think one of those things where I think the Saints are kind of in a spot to where they are just they're at a point to where they need to make a franchise-altering move because ever since Brees and Peyton left, they've just been trending down. Their stock has just been going down ever since, and so I think they're going to take a big swing right here and go with Shedeur. I mean, it was clear that Hayner and Rattler were not the answer, and Derek Carr. If Shedeur isn't necessarily ready to go, you can have Derek Carr start for the season and let Shedeur learn on the bench. But the thing with Shedeur, I mean, he's an experienced college player where he might be ready to go week 1 and potentially beat out a Derek Carr. Or even if he doesn't beat out Derek Carr, push Derek Carr to be motivated. And then if he performs well, and you could then
Derek Carr deserves to play for the Browns.
Flip Derek Carr. Yeah, flip Derek Carr to a team like the Browns or something. And
he deserves that. As much as Derek Carr prays, he's never prayed that, oh, please send me to Cleveland. He'd be mad. That'd be the first time he missed church. He'd be like, ugh. He was
You
hot that
can
week.
find a church out there. But oh man, yeah, it's one of those things where yeah, I just think that this pick is bold, obviously, but I feel like the Saints are in a position to want to try and go bold.
If he falls, it's not that bold. That's like a
Yeah, I
slam
was
dunk.
gonna say, not bold. It would be shocking. That would be more the word. That he's there at 9.
Yeah, for sure. Because someone might trade up, but it's like, who would though? Because if
Are
he
they gonna
falls here, like
have Kendrick Lamar announce the pick, and then Lil Wayne gets upset?
right? They're like, all right,
announce the 9th pick
all right,
overall,
Wayne.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, like, all right, Wayne. Since you didn't get to do the Super Bowl, let you announce the pick.
Wayne's gonna show up faded.
Be his consolation prize. Shout out Holly Grove, man.
Where is it at this year? Oh, it's in Green Bay. That's right. I was chopping it with Bernie Mac. He's going out because he's a Wisconsin native.
It's a weird place to draft, Green Bay. They must not care.
NFL royalty, though.
It's the thing is like once they started moving that thing around. The New York thing, remember, it was always in New York, and I think they did it in Philly one time, but then for the most part, it was always New York in the past like 20 years, and like it became such a spectacle that like they're like, you know what? I think they did Dallas at one point, and then they did Tennessee. Yeah, they just started. Yeah, exactly, and then like. These things, that whole area gets shut down and they flip that whole area to whatever fucking path to the draft central or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. All right. So Shedeur.
All right. Yeah. Shedeur at 9. Let's move on here to pick 10. The Chicago Bears. Bears, who I have passing on Will Campbell because of these arm length concerns. I think these teams are going to be a little spooked with that. And I have them going with the big boy, Kelvin Banks from the Texas Longhorns, baby.
Pass rusher?
No, offensive tackle. Because
I just don't.
Braxton Jenkins, they left tackles in a contract year.
Outside the top 10. So, you know what I mean? I'm over here scratching my head like, who's that?
Kelvin Banks, he's a big motherfucker. A BMF.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And so I think with Ben Johnson, bro, they want BMFs in there. For
Is that the dude that ran like a 4.5?
No, he's a tackle.
Yeah, didn't he run like a 4.5?
I think he ran like a really good time for a tackle. I'm pretty sure he's like a guy
because he's like 380, right? Isn't he like 380 pounds?
Yeah, I'm pulling up his profile right now. He's
a high ceiling
prospect. He could also play guard too in the Bears. They could just kind of shift him around the puzzle. Just kind of see what they. Yeah, he's a junior. 6'5", 315.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
big old boy.
That's a good pick. The Bears are already addressed with 2 different deals, offensive line. So they have all the weapons everywhere. So they just really give Caleb the time, protect him, have a line that can maul, you can run the ball. Like that's all they are missing. Chicago's always got a good defense no matter what, you know what I mean? But I think that O-line is the biggest. Once they sure that up, they might be a problem. They might, especially if Caleb takes that step. So Caleb,
and Detroit, they're gonna, Detroit, they're taking a shocking hit. I mean, a massive blow, getting rid of or not getting rid of, being poached of their coordinators too. So you never know. Chicago could be surprising in this division.
Yep. I like the pick over Will Campbell. That's that one. We'll see. That could work out either for. Like I told you, whoever's gonna. The person who's going to be the most happy about this Will Campbell small arms talk is the team that drafts Will Campbell, because now you see the kind of fall that's happening.
Come on, Niners. Who we got next?
All right, so the Niners actually don't have going Will Campbell.
Most important.
Come on.
Because y'all need edge help, man, across from Nick Bosa. Y'all need some help, man. So I got y'all getting some help here and going with Mykel Williams from the Georgia Bulldogs.
Okay.
Don't know enough about him. I know. Obviously, you go to Georgia, and you're a top 15 pick. You're a player. You were probably a 5-star recruit. All the way through. So That's kind of what we do. D tackle. I don't know who the top D tackle is in this draft.
Mason Graham, but he's gone in this
Yeah, he's
scenario.
gone. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, defense. We need to start loading up that pass rush. That Niner defense is predicated on
we got Saleh back in the house.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked for to see him go defense here. It's either some sort of edge rusher or interior lineman, or I mean, if Will Campbell's sitting there for us at 11, that might be a slam dunk too. You know, we definitely need line help.
It'd be a slam dunk. It would like bounce right off the rim, though. You mean?
Because they were there. If Memphis
it would be just that short of the rim. See what I'm saying?
I like it. But yes, but no, man, I would go Will Campbell here if he's there for us at 11. But you know, they do need that pass rush elite for the Niners to be in full effect. So
yeah, because we didn't do anything, and I would have figured first order of business would be to address that, but we have so many people to pay, so we might have to draft an edge. You know what I mean? Because it's not like we can get in the Trey Hendrickson talk or the, you know what I mean? Who else was available? I guess he's the most notable one, right?
Basically. Yeah, okay. Well, shit. Michael Williams, he's a blue chip prospect. Can't be mad at it.
Yeah, I think he would make sense.
Though, but
yeah, I mean, with Silverback getting up in age, it's like I could definitely see a Will Campbell being the pick instead, because it's like, you know, he's an elite prospect.
Then we can move him over to guard for now.
Yeah, same with Kelvin Banks. If it's just say the Bears go Campbell, then y'all might go Banks, or you know, or vice versa. You know, I mean, y'all could definitely use O-line. There's no doubt.
Be interior.
Y'all get kind of in a weird spot, and for y'all standards, normally y'all are always so loaded up front. Where in this year, y'all actually need a lot up front. So you already know Shanny is for sure going to draft trenches early and often.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything too fancy here.
Right. It's going to be
line or D-line.
It's not going to be skill.
I'm not mad at your pick, though, because that's still D-line. You know what I mean? We do need help off that edge, opposite of Bosa.
Mm-hmm. Big fact. So, all right. Well, let's see.
Derek's stressed out over here at number 12. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely stressed. He's definitely stressed.
If you don't take who he
he's about to be able to breathe a sigh of relief, because at number 12, I have the Cowboys finally addressing the running back position and bringing in a workhorse running back, Omarion Hampton from North Carolina. There you go, Derek. Uncle Jerry finally wakes up and decides it's time to address the running back position.
Is there a conference?
All these years of ignoring it.
Let me ask you,
Hampton.
Is there a scenario you're in a rookie draft pick now? If we got Genty with the Raiders and Hampton over here with Dallas, or is it just still Genty first overall? I mean, we know that Rico just balled last year out of that system, and Hampton is definitely a far superior talent. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah, I mean Hampton.
Yeah, I'd still go Genty, but Hampton over there is going to be nice. That's for sure.
But if you're the Cowboys and you see Ted McMillan sitting there for you at 12, knowing the running back kind of depth that there is in the second, third round, Uncle Jerry might just pull one last trump card. Listen here, damn it, I want the kid.
He's going to send him. He's going to send him a 30-second reel.
He can't remember any of their names.
He's going to say, "Sit down here, Ted. We're going to watch TV."
But that would be a nasty tandem.
This is film. He's going to watch film with Uncle Jerry for the first time.
He's over to Ted McMillan. Let me tell you something about Ted McMillan, bro. The first game of the year last year I watched. It was Arizona. I don't even remember who they played, to be honest. This motherfucker had like 300 yards and like 4 to 5 touchdowns. And I had an instant man crush on Ted McMillan. I'm not afraid to say it, damn it. But he did definitely cool off. He did definitely he slowed down, but I mean the dude is a beast, bro. And he's not expected to be a number one where you got CD over there, and he's not going to get all this crazy number one coverage. Give me Ted McMillan, and then whatever second round running back falls to us. I mean, you just had, like you said, Rico. You had Rico Dowdle be a thing last year where he was actually formidable. Second time we're going to use that word. And you know what I mean? Like Ted McMillan, but you ain't gonna get a Ted McMillan in the second round. You can definitely get a good running back in the second round. And why would you draft running back when you just signed Javonte Williams? You're good.
And Booby Miles
Come
Sanders,
on.
man.
Let me spin,
Come
coach.
on.
Let me spin, coach.
I just think this is one of those issues to where, look, like they haven't really. I mean, they took Tony Pasta a while back, but it's like, I mean, Rico was all right last year, but you let him
Rico
go.
was the man, but based on value standards, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you need a hitter at this position, man. I mean, Javonte Williams is not a hitter. I mean, he's all right,
Okay,
but he is not a hitter. So
what about Duncan? One of the Ohio kids. What's the other one? Henderson. You
Oh
think
yeah,
they fall
Henderson. Yeah,
mid-second?
Henderson and Judkins. Yeah, I don't see those guys
Judkins,
quite jumping up to the first round. I think
No,
they're
I'm talking about in
for
the second
sure
round.
day 2 picks.
I'm talking about in the second round.
Yeah.
I
They're
would
day 2
love it.
picks.
Caleb
They're day 2
Caleb
picks.
Johnson over there in Iowa.
Yeah, and
You know what I
Caleb
mean?
Johnson. Yeah, for sure. No, there's gonna be a lot of day
Does he
2
give you
running
Zeke
backs. So
vibes,
I just
Diamond?
think the
Nah.
thing with Hampton, I just think he's a little bit above all them to where I just think Dallas, because the running game has been an issue for them for so long now, I feel like Stephen Jones is going to tell Uncle Jerry, look, motherfucker, we've not been able to run the ball.
Look,
Zeke
Dad.
is cooked. Zeke, you cannot just bring back Zeke. Like, you've got to be able to have someone that can run. And Derek's right. I mean, yeah, no one wants Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders out there.
Javonte.
I mean, we've seen literally since the draft pick of Zeke that the Cowboys have not valued the running back position at all.
They haven't really.
So like,
I mean, they didn't even
just
pay
all of a
Pasta.
sudden,
They
all of a
franchised
sudden,
him.
hey, yeah, you let Tony Pollard walk. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
they
probably
tagged
should
him.
have kept him. You know, you
He
still thought
signed that
Zeke
tag so quick too. The first day they issued it, Tony was like, "Yep, pasta for life."
You know what I mean? Like he's so they don't seem to really value the running back here. So for them to just take that at 12 right there, that would be a kind of a what would seem to be a change in philosophy at running back for them.
Yep,
But,
and a shout out to Ear to the Streets real quick before we move on. I want to give his blurb about Omari and Hampton. Omari and Hampton continues to skyrocket up draft boards. Few executives compared him and Ashton Genty to the Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs class, saying both will go very early.
Who are these executives that he stick up here?
Sources indicate. Yeah, you know, you never know it. With the game of telephone, it's like, yeah, it's just.
I mean,
but it makes sense though. It makes sense though.
Think about this though. He ain't lying, because if you're gonna compare the two, I mean, one's getting drafted in the sixth overall. The other one's the 12th overall. So I mean, that is both running backs being drafted high.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that where there's smoke, there's fire. In this case, is I think the smoke is going to lead to these running backs going really high because it's a stacked running back class. So I don't see that being a smoke screen. I see the smoke actually, leading to the trail of running backs being the top picks. But let me let's move on to 13. And this is where I finally got the Will Campbell slide ending. And boy, is Miami lucky in this scenario because Teron Armstead just retired. And so if they're able to get either Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell, they're going to be jumping for joy. And so I have Will Campbell slipping a little bit. And they are not going to give a fuck about his arm length, bro. They need a left tackle so bad. So that being said, Will Campbell stays down south, goes a little further south to Miami, and becomes a Dolphin.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, that's that's the value pick. Like I said, the Dolphins will be very happy about all this arm length conversation if he's there for them at 13.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be like,
because they wouldn't have got him without it.
We'll take the chance. Yeah, we need this position.
We've seen Tua take some hits and turn into a dinosaur. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that's how it's gonna go. He's gonna he's gonna miss the block by 1/8 of an inch.
1/8 of an inch.
And Tua's career is gonna end. No, that's horrible.
He couldn't get up under there.
Oh, man. You know what? The reason why I think Will Campbell's going to be fine is because the SEC is basically like you gotta have a AAA in minor league baseball, right? The SEC is basically AAA. Like the AAA NFL. And Will Campbell started every game for LSU as a consensus All-American. And I mean, he was having to face all those elite pass rushers that are first-round talents, and he fared fine against them. So I don't see this arm length thing really being an issue. So I think, yeah, he might slip a little bit, but there's no way in hell he's slipping past the Dolphins at 13. That is his absolute floor. There is no way he's slipping past Miami if he falls this far.
I agree with you.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel, bro. Like, yeah, no, the Niners, honestly, now that we've been talking about it, I mean, y'all are the Niner gang, so, like, y'all know what's that. I might switch my Maka and put Campbell.
You know, we're on the path to the draft over here, too. So, you know what I mean? We would love to always circle back when you got updates and a new mock type of shit. You know what I mean?
Okay, bet. Yeah, we'll keep this thing. Yeah, we'll keep this first edition. Yeah, we might run it back next Sunday. Fuck it, because
yeah, I'm down.
Maybe what we could do, I mean, we could keep rocking, but if y'all want, we could just end it at through 16 and we could do 17 to 32 next week.
I'm kind of down. And then, like, you know, even if you got some changes through the course of the week, we can start off the show with some updates. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, bet. All right, yeah, because
on the first 16.
Yeah, it's getting a little late on my end, so I mean, yeah, we could just do that. Yeah, do 17 to 32 next week. That way, the people that watching the replay aren't as overwhelmed with the the length of the video.
It's overwhelming. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
We're some degenerates, but if you do take it in, you will learn a lot of info. Pause.
I mean, we're what, 2 weeks away?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're about 2.5 weeks at this point.
2.5 weeks,
so it's
yeah,
like
20 days away.
I caught myself, Derek. I caught myself. But yeah, it's one of those things where if you y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what's good with the nation and the G-Dub, man. Stand up.
We ain't playing.
We're not playing, blood.
You know what I mean? Spencer Guru, look. We got two OG gurus right here. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
That's how we rock.
Gurus unite, man. Gurus must stick together.
That's the modern guru.
Right?
Vintage guru. Okay, so what you got for us at 14?
Yeah, we got the Indianapolis Colts, who have not had a relevant tight end since probably the Dallas Clark, man.
Damn.
They have been horrible at the tight end. Well, they had that one year with Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron was pretty good that one year, I remember. So yeah, they're gonna address that and take Colson Loveland here.
I forgot he was there.
Yeah, he caught like 10 tugs that one year with
Andrew Luck.
Was that the neckbeard or
I think 2018 year? I think that was the last neckbeard.
I think so. I think so. Yep. Dearest mother, man, I miss Andrew Luck, bro.
I know.
At least he's back in football. At least now and he's a savage, bro. He fucking fired. His first order of business was to fire Stanford's head coach. I was like, man, the neckbeard's not playing, bro.
Wow.
He wrote this long, drawn out statement saying about why he did it and shit. And he tried to be nice about it, but it was just kind of like, I see you, neckbeard. Like, do your savage shit, bro.
So
take control.
He's
basically their general manager.
Oh, that's bad.
Or I think they call him like their president of football operations.
That's kind of a trend going on right now, where a lot of ex-players are taking over as like the GMs of their college, while still playing.
He's literally listed as general manager.
Yeah, which is a new role because college has always been the athletic director forever. It was like the guy that you would hear about, but now that is basically like with NIL money. It's like pros. It's like
you went like I think of college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you could thank NIL for this new position.
And Andrew Luck's dad has always been a big. Andrew Luck's dad's always been a big wig, right? Like he's one of the ones that sat on the playoff board for a long time.
Yeah, Oliver Luck. Yeah, he was one of the members of what the fucking
family,
what was that shit?
Mm-hmm. Forget about it.
Oh shit! Well, I can't remember.
Hey, there's no luck here.
One of those fucking
Rather than-
alternative
Holy hard
leagues, the
work.
XFL, the USFL. He was like the president of one of those leagues, I thought.
Yeah, and then he was like the head of the board that designed the first ever college playoff brackets. Yeah, he
Ain't
was
lucky.
Okay. Oh, the college football playoff committee. Okay.
There you go.
That makes
there you
sense.
go.
Yeah, he's football royalty. So
Yeah. And you know, Andrew Luck is royalty over there too. And you know what's crazy?
Definitely.
It's just the idea of Andrew Luck involved in any kind of football again is fucking awesome.
no, yeah, I'm glad he's back in the game. I mean, even if he's not
he's-
playing, it is good to have him back involved. So yeah, I agree.
I always said because I think he was like an architect, like out of Stanford. So I always said that's how he sees how a play is designed, and he'll be able to point out the flaws and things that he could fix in a play. You know what I mean? Same thing like how he would view a team or a building, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm gonna build this thing up. Shout out to Andrew Luck. I always say Andrew Luck was one of them. You know, in the Geico commercials, he's a sophisticated caveman. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's eating the mango salsa. You know what I mean? And he's ordering. You know.
Yeah, his scenario. It's so hard a caveman can do it. It's like so difficult a caveman can do it. Like, cause he's like smart. You know? Instead of it's so easy a caveman.
Yeah, because all those commercials. Remember, they were all like snooty cavemen. Like they were so appalled by the punchline of them being dumb.
Right? Yeah, when Andrew Luck, you give him some like fucking trig problem or calculus problem, and he just solves it. And it's
I remember
just like
Andrew Luck, he would routinely get on the top 100, and you know that's voted in by like players. They'll give them like polls to vote on, and then they'll have players.
Oh yeah, the players only top 100.
Yeah, and then they have the players doing their testimony. And I remember there would always the comments on Andrew Luck would be like, "Man, I hate that guy. This guy always like, I'll hit him." And then like he'll get up as fast as me and be like, "That was a great hit, big boy." And he was like, I'm trying to kill this guy. I'm trying to act nice.
That's probably how he's trying to play mind games with him. He's trying to like pour cold water on their fire. Yeah, but was probably part of it. He had that humble approach. So
yeah, because then everyone's spitting fire and brimstone and go hurrah on the field, and he's all like, "Oh, that's a great hit, big boy." And it's like what? Oh, thanks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you react to that? You know what I mean? But then they would show like clips of people telling him to shut up. Or like he would always put his hand out and no one would help him. You'd be like, you know, they're not gonna help you, bro.
Damn, yeah. All right. Let's talk a little fantasy here real quick before we move on to Atlanta. So for their dynasty, who are we taking here as a top tight end, assuming this hits like I'm thinking? Tyler Warren with the Jets and Justin Fields, or Colson Loveland with the Colts and A-Rich/Danny Dumbass?
It'd be Justin Fields. I mean, it'd be Warren
in that scenario. Indy's hoping they can get either one of those.
Yeah, because Indy's got fucking they still have Downs, who's good, Pittman, Pierce. Yeah, the Jets would have more targets up for grabs.
Yeah,
so
and
I can't really argue with that.
You also have the coach, their OC. He's a product of Ben Johnson. So, you know what I mean? Like, we do like that tight end landing spot. I mean, if they go in for a tight end like you have it here, that means like they have a plan for that position, you know what I mean, on offense, because that is a playbook that we saw produce Laporta not too long ago. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Facts.
Yeah, it'd be Tyler Warren for me. You know, I trust only because I trust Justin Fields more than I trust Anthony Richardson, which isn't much trust on either end, but you know, I'll go. Yeah, there'll be more opportunity for him there.
100%.
But yeah, Indy's hoping they get either one of those tight ends. There's a chance they might get Warren if he falls. You know, that's who they're probably hoping for. But I do agree that would probably go Loveland if Warren's not there for him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, y'all. We got 2 more to go. And we got the Falcons up next. Pick 15. And they need an edge rusher really bad because they had a stat that said ever since I think it was 2022, they rank last in sacks and they trail by like 30, I think. Like they're 32, and I think 31 had like 30 more sacks than them, if I read that right. So that tells me that they're basically going to just go with best available edge rusher. And in this scenario, James Pierce from Tennessee appears to be the best available. He's got a good profile. He's got a good size, had good sack numbers in college, SEC resume. So
The
I feel like
Falcons
he's
badly need pass rush.
no 100%. I feel like this is a pretty obvious pick. I think it's not a matter of if they take a pass rusher. It's just which pass rusher do they take. I mean, they got the boy from A&M, Stewart. Then they got the boy from Marshall, who led the nation in sacks, Mike Green. So,
Yep.
I mean, those guys could potentially be the pick as well. But I think Pierce from Tennessee is the one that has the best prospect profile of the remaining edge rushers. So that's why I have him being the pick here.
It's a great scheme. It's a great scheme for a pass rusher, even though they.
And yeah, I agree, Derek. Jelani Woods ain't it. He's too injured.
Yeah, sloppy Jelani. But
who's
see,
the edge rusher?
I would say it's a great landing spot because what they do actually lack a talented pass rusher because they were up there in pressure rate. Like Raheem Morris, the scheme still gets after the QB. They just didn't have anybody that was hitting home for real. So you know what I mean? And yeah, they definitely could use a pass rusher. I think that and he's what the third ranked or the second ranked.
I think the third rank because they had who'd I have going? I had Abdul Carter. Well, if you count Jalen Walker as an edge, he's kind of a linebacker too. If you count him as an edge, then dude would be 4 Pierce.
I spent like 3 days wanting the Niners to take Walker.
Yeah, well, in this scenario, I had Walker going to the Panthers at 8.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he had to step out when we went over that pick. Yeah, but
James Pierce, the new Vic Beasley in Atlanta.
Well, Vic Beasley. Yeah, I say Vic Beasley. He is a 1-year wonder. He had that 1 year.
He was nasty as a rookie.
Good. And then he just like what happened?
Too, if I'm not mistaken, he was a high draft pick too. So
yeah, he was. I remember they were thinking he was going to be like the next great pass rusher because he had that year. I think he like led the league in sacks, and it's like. Man, it's been crazy.
Did he lead the league that rookie year?
Ever since then, 2016 was his second year. He had 15 and a half.
And you know who was in the building?
Never the same. Well, 2019 he was pretty good. He had 8, but never as good as
it was Dan Quinn. It was Dan Quinn those years.
Oh yeah. 2016. That's the year they went to the Super Bowl, and the 28-3 happened. Okay,
that was they were killing it. MVP Matt Ryan. They had
Julio, fucking Roddy White.
Julio had like 1,400 or something like that. Yeah, or 1,800.
Yeah, Julio was a fucking all-pro. Yeah, they were.
Devontae Freeman went crazy.
Devontae Freeman. Yep, facts. Yeah, no, they've never been nearly that good since they had the Falcons. But I just think you got to go with an edge rusher, and I think Pierce is the move here because, like I was saying, he's got a good prospect profile. He had good college numbers. I mean, he checks all the boxes of what you'd want here.
Yeah, and they need it bad.
Yep. And so at 16 is the Cardinals. They've got a lot of needs that they could go a lot of different directions. But I have them addressing the cornerback position because we've yet to have a cornerback go in this scenario. So I think the cornerback slide ends, and I have them going Jahdae Brown from Texas, who is I think he's the bigger corner, I believe. One of them's a little on the smaller side. I think Brown is the one that's a little bit bigger, if I remember right. Let me fact check myself, but I just feel like the Cardinals could use secondary help, especially the cornerback position. They've got some good young corners, but it's just one of those things. I mean, in today's NFL, you can never have too many good cornerbacks, and with Jonathan Gannon, I feel like Brown's the one he's a little smaller, but it's one of those things where, I mean, they have some other good young corners there, and then they could maybe put Brown in the slot potentially. I need to brush him up on his profile as far as, he's very fast, 4.39 40. Big nickel back. Okay, so yeah, he could play nickel. Yep, above average size and strength as a big nickel corner. Well, that'd be perfect for Arizona because they've got a couple of good. You got
Buda Baker. He's kind of like he's a box safety.
He's the lockdown box safety. Jalen Thompson. Yep. Yeah, and then you could get this guy Brown in the nickel spot. You got a pretty nasty secondary at that point. Yeah. Jonathan Gannon. It comes from the Eagles, a defensive-minded coach. So, I think this is a good fit for Arizona.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. And, they are predicated – that scheme is predicated on their pass rush And so, like, you see them over, like, a couple of years ago, they had Byron Murphy. That he was really good. They're like, okay, we don't want to pay you because, like, they're
Oh yeah, and then he went and did his thing with Minnesota.
yeah. So, like, you know, what I mean, they haven't really had a corner, like you said, and you know, if this guy could play nickel, that's nasty because shit, that the Jonathan Gannon scheme going back to like his time with the Eagles. You know what I mean? He would have the safeties playing nickel too sometimes. You know what I mean? Or the linebacker, like, you know, they did that when for years. What was his name? Even in Arizona before that, what's his name? Isaiah Simmons.
Oh yeah, Isaiah Simmons. Yeah, they got a good
that hybrid.
solid veteran, Sean Murphy Bunting, and then they got a Garrett Williams and Starling Thomas.
Yeah,
but I mean, they could use some help on that, you know, at that position group. And I think Jahdae Brown would turn that cornerback room from just all right to being like pretty solid.
I mean, coming into the draft, Will Johnson was kind of like the consensus #1 kind of ranked corner. So if that were to happen, where they take him over Will Johnson, it would either tell me this guy's a lot better than everyone kind of thought, or maybe Will Johnson's not as good as, you know, we all kind of projected. So that would raise an eyebrow that if they take this guy over,
it could be a position fit, but it could be a position need. I mean, a scheme fit, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Could be.
Yeah. I think it's a little better scheme fit.
I think Arizona always does some dumbass shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I feel like they might be in play for Matthew Golden here, the receiver.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Matthew Golden. Oh yeah, and in this scenario, Ted McMillan's still on the board.
Ted McMillan. Yep. I mean, yeah, they could definitely putting another big time receiver on the field with them.
Would that make us be any kind of more interested in a Kyler Murray for fantasy purposes?
That would raise the question now: is if he can't do it, if they do get somebody like this and like a receiver, and it doesn't happen with Kyler, then it ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would still, you would think though, you know, for me, it would bump Kyler up a few points in my book.
I hope they do this. That way, someone else in all the drafts I'm in makes the case for Kyler and takes him in a place I would never ever draft him at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of I've got my very early redraft rankings. I forgot where I had Kyler ranked. All right, yeah, I had him 10th. So at QB, I had it, which might even be a little high because honestly, looking at this from off the rip, I might move Bo Nix and Caleb Williams over Kyler.
Bo Nix is going to throw. Do you think Bo Nix will throw 25 passing tugs or more?
He very well might, especially if the Broncos take a weapon in the first
21, you know what I mean? Like
that's
Kyler
true.
Murray. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm definitely and like Kyler Murray. Here's the one thing too is that his refusal to run, like, and only use
that's killing his fantasy value.
Yeah, it kind of hurts him. So that's why I was asking y'all, like, if we get him another notable weapon,
he doesn't want to die.
Because you'll have McBride, Marv, and then potentially a McMillan or a Golden in this instance, right? Like, does that make us look at Kyler Murray a little more interesting in fantasy? Because no matter what, I'm always going to find a spot for a player where I would have them if it's a certain value, right? But like Kyler Murray, I would just never pay up for what people take him at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go over my rankings real quick. It's obviously very rough early rankings. I had it Allen, Lamar, Jaden, Burrow, Hurts, Baker, Mahomes. And then this is where I kind of have the Kyler tier. You got Goff, Herbert, Kyler, Bo Nix, Caleb, Jordan Love, Stroud. Like that tier is all like, that's a tough tier to rank, I feel like. But I have Kyler.
I'll put Bo Nix in that tier.
Yeah, I had Bo Nix in there. I had Bo Nix just one below Kyler, which I might end up flipping that.
I might even drop Kyler to 12, like because
I might move Nix and Williams over him. Yeah, because him and Jordan Love. I feel like Kyler and Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. Those are all like pretty similar.
Like, say you get 21 passing tugs out of a Drake May, and he runs for like 600 yards.
Yeah, like, where did I have Drake May? Yeah, Drake May I had 18, because then after Stroud I had Fields, Dak, Purdy, Drake May, but I might have Drake May a little too low.
Well, because I'm just saying when we're thinking rushing QBs, right? Like
that's true. Yeah, I might have Drake May currently QB 18, but I mean I might.
It's not bad.
Might move him up a little
I kind of
bit.
would have I like where you have Fields though.
Yeah, having QB 15. Yeah, because I mean Fields runs so fucking much. If he's starting, he's a for sure. His floor is QB 2, and he's definitely got QB 1 upside.
Yeah, and I feel like we could definitely string together 25 all-purpose touchdowns with a Justin Fields, and if that goes with all the rushing yards, he could be a 3,000-yard passer and still.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he might sneak a QB1 finish there. So I mean, with the Bears that year, he was a QB1. The year he ran for the Thou Wow.
Yeah, I think he ran for Thou Wow twice too, 2 years in a row.
Really?
I think so. Check me out.
Damn, yeah, let me check that. I didn't think he did. I thought he just had it that 1 year. What year was
cheap
that?
money, garbage time money for Justin
Yeah,
Fields.
because I know Lamar did it twice in a row. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Check me out.
Okay, yeah. Fields did it. Yeah, he did it 2022. In 2022, he had 1,143, and then in 23, he 657. But he only played 13 games. So if he'd have played all the games,
so
he may have gotten it. He didn't do it, right? Yeah, I didn't think he did, but I mean,
I know what it was. He almost broke the record. That's what it was.
Yeah, he didn't even
shut him down.
Yeah, he almost broke the record. Yeah, he only played 15 games.
Yeah, he was 60 yards away from the record, and they shut him down. He had 2 games to get it. That's fucked up.
Yeah, they fucked him over. Yeah.
Well, because during that time, they were still thinking they could trade him at some kind of value.
Yeah, and they thought maybe he might be their franchise
and then
guy
instead
if they were out of
DJ
it.
Moore. They traded for DJ Moore, give him one more shot, and that was that year. The
2023, the year, yeah. I think that's when they got DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore balled out over there. Even with Tyler Baggett.
Tyson Badgett, Bagent.
Oh yeah, Tyson Badgett. Yeah. Yeah, old
Tyson Bagel. T-Bags.
T-Bags.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those deals to where Fields will definitely be there. Let me fit other QBs that I had in the QB2 mix. I had Tua, Sam Darnold, Michael Penix, T-Law, JJ McCarthy, and Matthew Stafford to round out my top 24.
See, here's my thing. It's like if Stafford and everyone stays healthy for him, Stafford is like someone I'd put up like at 8, 7.
Woo-wee. Yo, he doesn't run though. That's he ain't getting shit out of him 40. As a rusher.
He has Devontae Adams and Puka fucking Nacua.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I might have him a little too low. Yeah, I might move him up.
He's already thrown for 40 in that offense before. So it's like that's why I'm saying, hey, will he have a bunch of picks? Fuck yeah. Matter of fact, when he threw for 40, I think he led the league in picks. He was tied with Trevor Lawrence that year back in 2021. So he definitely could, and that offensive line definitely came together for what it's worth. I hate the Rams.
I bet you do.
They're always so
I
good.
bet you do.
And they got Devontae fucking Adams, bro.
Yeah. Damn. Like, and y'all just dump Debo. Like, oh.
See, here's the thing. Like people are gonna draft Bo Nix before Stafford gets drafted. I'm gonna be happy to get Stafford later. You know what I mean? Like, even though like I would be happy to wait and still get a Bo Nix and maybe a Stafford. But if you wanted a Bo Nix, you'd have to go up higher. People are still gonna like, you know what I mean? Like, wait, even though Stafford's in the Sean McVay offense and he has all that fucking weapons, dude, it's crazy.
Well, you might single-handedly be responsible for about 2 rounds of Bo Nix's ADP being where it's at.
Yeah, for sure.
if you wasn't talking,
you
about
and
this,
Kidda,
like
fucking Kidda loves Bo Nix.
You done raised his ADP up.
I've drove the price so high that I can't even afford it no more. I'm like, I wouldn't even pay that much.
He's tied to Sean Payton. QB1 overall. The overall QB1.
And I was thinking right now, you about to drive Stafford's ADP up. You keep talking crazy.
I mean, but see, Stafford, we don't. That's my point though, is that people are still going to put him in this crop anyway. So, and I think he has the highest probability out this crop to finish.
He's for sure a QB2. I have him as a low end QB2, but I mean. I could definitely.
I can make a case for this ranking because you can easily make the case for this ranking and say, "Yo, Kyron's gonna, rush 20 fucking tugs in there," and then that'll just ruin it for everyone over there. As far as
because the problem with a Stafford, in my humble opinion, is that he doesn't have the rushing floor. I mean, a lot of these other guys, it's like McCarthy, if he's in there, he's going to run for at least 400 or 500. He's a mobile QB. I mean, T-Law, he can run a little bit. Penix, yeah, he's not really much of a runner, but I mean, he's got
I think
Drizzy,
Bijan's
Drake
going
London.
to hurt Penix more than anything.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe what I could do is swap Stafford and Penix, and then, or maybe Darnold, I have 20, because I think the Terminator could do pretty good in that Seattle system. JSN, who's a baller, Cooper Kupp, and if they draft, if Tet McMillan falls as far as I'm thinking, I mean, if they are, even if he or Matthew Golden, they could get.
I could
one of
definitely
those
see them
two.
getting another weapon.
If they could get Tet McMillan or Matthew Golden there, it's like, I think Darnold, he's not going to do as well as last year, but I think he's a solid QB2 still, even with Seattle. Like, I think he's a solid QB2.
He's definitely familiar with the system, and he's familiar with Clint Kubiak, because they were together in Frisco. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be some similarities and shit, but it's definitely gonna be a more run heavy offense. So I don't think he's gonna be. I like this ranking because I don't think he's gonna repeat what he did.
He ain't repeating what he did last year. That's for sure. And then I don't.
I almost would hate it for Tet McMillan in that sense too, in that landing spot, because I just worry about the passing volume.
JSN's going to be such a fucking target.
Like a
but I'm going to say, though, DK's gone, so that's a big amount of vacated targets, and Tyler Lockett's gone.
But you're not hearing where I'm coming from. It's because it had to be a Justin Jefferson, otherwise I would never. And even then, I still didn't trust it. And I was wrong about that. I don't trust Sam Darnold. Is what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I mean, his only really good year was last year with KOC. So I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. We'll have plenty of time to debate that. Obviously, after the draft, we'll have more clarity for redraft.
I do like Sam Darnold.
Darnold versus Stafford. I think that's a good debate.
Here's the thing: no matter how good Sam Darnold did last year with the Vikings, no one's gonna draft him up there like that. So,
he'll be one of those value QB2s. Yeah, him and Stafford, and then those, like I said, like the Penix, McCarthy, those are going to be those in Superflex. Those are going to be those value QB2s. And if you can identify the right one of those and then have a stacked group of receivers, I mean, obviously some people in Superflex just go boom, boom, quarterbacks right away. But if you take your QB1 and then wait a while for your QB2, that's what I did last year in the SBI. I got Darnold, and that really helped me in that league. I didn't win it, but I think I made the playoffs last year. And my MVP of that SBI team probably was Sam Darnold. Because, I mean, where I got him in the draft, shout out to Clock. Yeah, hopefully he comes back. But if not, we appreciated him joining us.
Ran out of time.
Yeah. The clock was up for us.
The clock was up.
All we got was him managing the clock while he was here.
He just wanted to make sure we were. Hey, it's funny. You go to Clock's house, all kind of clocks everywhere. Just
grandfather clocks everywhere.
Hey, he wakes up in the morning, ding, the toast pops out. It's on the clock.
Oh yeah, it's like y'all know the Pink Floyd song "Time," where they have all the starts off all the clocks.
All the clocks.
That's Clock's theme song. Yeah, they said in the studio they put 100 grandfather clocks and had them all go off at the same time. I think
that's scary.
That album's so fucking good. But it's one of those ones.
Which one is it? The Dark
Side of the Moon. Yeah,
that's the one.
That's the one, bro.
My name is Drug.
Yeah, Time and Money, bro. Those are the two biggest hits off the album.
Take your hands out for my stack.
There you go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's Bogey's theme song, and then Clocks is, y'all each have a theme song off that album.
You know what's my joint on that? The Big Gig in the Sky.
Oh, Great Gig in the Sky. Yeah, that one's incredible. Yeah, the vocals on that go so hard, bro.
Yeah, because it's just she's just wailing, and it's so dope.
It took me a while to appreciate that song. When I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, there's wailing. This sucks. But then I listened to it again and a few more times, and I was like, wow, this is a fucking great song.
Leave it open after, please. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Sunday. Yeah, and then, but the Big Gig in the Sky, you know how, it flips up into different parts, And I've sat. I'm talking about for years, like 20 years, trying to think how can I flip that thing. And every time I've ever tried to attempt to, I just like end up listening to it. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different parts there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like she just, and then there's like the live versions, super dope too. Because like even when she was like older now, she killed that thing. Still.
Yeah, who
like,
was it? Who did the vocals
I
on
mean,
that?
you know what? That's worth going down the rabbit hole. I'm like,
Yeah, let me look that up. Yeah, let me
she
look.
would
Let
just
me
appear
look.
on that song, and she would be on their concerts and just
Yeah,
come out
because
to
like
that
that's the
song.
only
No
time I heard
lyrics.
like a female singer for
Wow,
Pink
wow,
Floyd. Like yeah,
wow.
Pink Floyd was always Claire
That's just
Torrey.
crazy. What's her
Claire
name?
Torrey. Claire
Okay.
Torrey, British. Yeah, they're a British band. Yep.
Yeah, and she
She's
could have
still
been like,
alive, bro. 77.
yeah, and like you can go on YouTube. There's joints of her from like in the last 10 years where she's getting on there doing that thing live, blowing like it's just like the record too.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Insane.
Like,
Yeah, she got paid a one-time fee for the recording session.
dang, that's cold. So she ain't got no credits on the freaking.
Right, yeah, she didn't get any credits there.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
we'll see.
But I'm sure she made plenty of bread, go and play it live with them and shit.
Oh yeah, going.
I'm sure she
going
got
on tour
hers,
with
but yeah, no, she got hers, I bet, but still, it's like, yeah.
You ever go down the rabbit hole? What happened to bruh? He went like schizophrenic or something like that.
Oh yeah, the original guy for them
Yeah.
did. Yeah, Sid Barrett. Yeah, when they got more mainstream, no, he wasn't with.
Yeah,
them
he was
anymore.
already gone.
He was, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was the guy. Though, a lot of the like true like rock heads like that love psychedelic and shit. They like really look up to that.
He tells a story like what's bruh's name? The modern singer. The modern musician.
Dave Gilmour and Roger Waters are the two. Roger Waters on that replaced
watch his joint on
Barrett.
Rogan, bruh. Did you ever see him on Rogan? He tells
Who went
the whole
on
story.
Rogan?
Yeah, he's
which
like,
one? Oh, the new Roger Waters.
Yeah, so he was he was like they were on he says this back in the days they're on a tour and they're in Arizona, and then like he's so convinced this is LA, so he's like upset. He's like, oh, we're in LA. He's like, no, mate, we're in Arizona, and then he just looks at him. He goes, oh, the government. You know what I mean? And he was like, that was like the moment he was like, okay, there's something really like not right with him. You know what I mean? But it would be stuff like that. He would just be out there, you know what I mean? And then, he's not being properly diagnosed. And then, you know what I mean? He had severe mental health issues, but you're doing a lot of designer.
Yeah, a lot tougher back then. Yeah. And then with all they didn't have nearly as much data on the side effects of shit. And things weren't diagnosed the same. So it could be a recipe for disaster. That's for sure. But at least they, yeah, that's the crazy. It's like we could do a whole episode about that, about just like the history of rock and roll, man.
I'm so down because then like we could have.
I need to have my cousin on that joint. Yeah,
that would be dope. Because like
we really could. We talk about the Beatles a good bit, and so we're talking about like saying it like with the Paul George, Ringo, or the John Paul George dynamic. Ringo was just there. I mean.
You ever go down those conspiracies where like on the album where he was like, it has the little decoders where you look at the cover art and he's pointing at it and it says like John is dead or something like that. Like when them crazy fans, they'll find some shit in there, but it's in like the artwork and it was like the last album they did or some shit like that. But there's all kind of crazy rabbit holes we could take the thing down.
Yeah, we like to talk about like the psychology of it and the band dynamic and stuff, like, kind of because it was always such a like, it's just one of those things to where it was just a kind of it was like a power struggle.
Some broad shows up and just fucks it all up. And that's why they say, oh, she's the Yoko Ono. You know what I mean? Like anytime there's
the thing is, though, in Yoko's defense, I feel like John was already, it wouldn't have mattered. John was he was doing his own thing. And it was one of those deals to where
John can write too.
That's what I'm saying. John had the power to do his own thing. And he was the kind of artist that he was a growth. He valued growth more than anything, where Paul, I think, valued more the
commercial success.
The commercial success. Yeah. And so they eventually just got to a point to where Yeah, he wanted to make sure he kept everybody happy. He was more of a people pleaser, where John was the ultimate just, I don't give a fuck. I'm me. I'm doing me. Fuck y'all. Like, I don't care. I don't care
Drinking his
about your
milk and brandy.
label. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about your fucking label. Yeah, I don't care about your fucking money. I don't care about your fucking this and that. Yeah, no, he really didn't. And
Well,
like,
because
yeah,
here's the thing too, you have these kids who blow up, and then like you see the whole world, and then you get to learn the business, and you realize like how shady it is. You know what I mean? And then like this is definitely during like the that era, the hippie era. You know what I mean? When John started to like, you know, when banging the hair out, and he's kind of getting out of that pretty boy, you know,
right.
kind of. Because remember, they kind of had him like kind of like early. If you think
Yeah,
about
they
the
were
early
pretty
boys,
boys. They'd all wear suits and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were the pretty boys. Yeah, and he was married to a British woman and stuff, you know, and then he
He's real
just,
proper, like
yeah,
a
he was
British
real
gentleman.
proper. And then the thing that changed when they got to the era of I think it first kind of started with Help was like the first out, like we did that song what's the one of that, Happiness is a Warm Gun, was that? No, it was no, Hide Your Love Away. It was like inspired by Bob Dylan, and it was more kind of like an out there kind of track, like a more experimental kind of track for its time. Because
Yeah,
Help, that album was still more of a lot of popish type songs. But then after Help, I believe was Rubber Soul. And then that when Rubber Soul came out, that's when it was like, wow, the Beatles really like, that was a very revolutionary album, because that album was just like so just like holy shit. It was so like whole. Like it was just, they had, that to me is probably when they hit their peak. Was like Rubber Soul, Revolver. And then I mean they made a lot of great shit after that, but they weren't as like together, because then in the later stuff it was more, oh, that's clearly a John song, that's clearly a Paul song. But in
yeah,
Rubber
you
Soul and
could
Revolver,
differentiate easily.
they were all just like, they were just so locked in as a band at that point.
Yeah, like what's called it? Man, going back to the OG shit, man. My favorite Beatles song ever is "Don't Let Me Down," because that's always, especially like when I got into
Oh yeah, that was
fantasy.
more toward the end. Yeah, that was a John song.
Yeah,
But
because
they, yeah,
that was the,
and they did the harmonies that to get in the rooftop. They
Mhm.
performed it and shit. Yeah, that was a badass
Yeah, the
performance.
best
Yeah.
version of that song to me is the rooftop recording, which
Mm-hmm.
is ironic too, because like it's a recording in an open space live where there's no, you know what I mean? There's no real resonance. So, but it came out dumbass clean. Like that's my favorite version.
Oh, facts. Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
and that was
definitely
them
have
getting
to.
back together too. You're right. That wasn't the
Yeah,
OG
for
shit.
sure. That was like with the Let It Be shit. It was sort of, yeah. That was the last time they did anything live, like because they were about broken up at that point. But they're just, let there one
Whisper
last one.
words of wisdom, let it be.
Yeah,
They
Let It Be.
got
Yeah,
some.
that album. Yeah, I never really like. I never got into the Let It Be album, but I mean, they had some good tracks on there for sure. I just feel like if like Abbey Road, I really got into. I really love the Abbey Road medley, which was, it's pretty Paul driven. But you know, there's like, it's like 6 or 7 like 1.5 minute songs at the end of the album.
Band on the Run is my favorite
That shit
Paul
goes
song.
hard. Oh yeah, yeah, solo Paul. Yeah, that
Yeah,
song is, yeah. I remember you. Yeah, you showed me that joint. Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
song
my
is
joint
just
right
like,
there. Because it
yeah, no,
like
yeah,
flips
because yeah,
out.
yeah, it changes tempos and shit. Yeah, no, Paul. Yeah, Paul's a fucking magician, man. I mean, people can hate on Paul all they want and say, he wasn't edgy, he wasn't as rocking. But man, Paul's a fucking rocker, man. You got to give Paul his flowers, bro. Like, I mean, he's
It's kind
easy
of
to
tough when
hate
you're in the
on.
shadow. Like
Because
he was definitely
compared to
like kind of in the
George and
John shadow.
John, yeah, he
I mean,
wasn't as
all of them were.
edgy as them. But yeah, no, and John broke out, and then then George. I mean, George had his thing. Like George has like all the hipsters love George. Like George, like
And,
the hip.
Ringo had a couple of joints. Remember, Ringo had all the joints with Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, no,
And
Ringo was more mainstream. Ringo, yeah, he was like, the rock and roll community loves to
hey,
rip Ringo. He
which one of
is
them did that
laughed at
Christmas
by the
song?
hipsters.
Which one did the Christmas song? That's one of the best Christmas songs ever.
I mean, I think John and Paul did Christmas. Yeah, well, more Paul. Yeah,
You know that
Paul was more the Chris.
simply having a wonderful Christmas
Yeah, that was
time.
Paul. John did the one like
Yeah,
the
that's
like
see, Paul
Happy
got some
Christmas
joints.
or
B.
whatever. That one was good though. I think he did it with like,
Oh
the
yeah, the other
Plastic
one is
Ono
the
band
Very
with
Merry
him and
Christmas.
Yoko. Yeah, that was a really good one. Yeah.
Very Merry
It's
Christmas
Christmas and
and
a
a
Happy
Happy
New.
New
Yeah, that was
Year.
John. Yep. Yeah, but
Yeah,
then
John got some
Paul
funny
was
stuff.
the one, the wonderful Christmas. Like that was Paul. 'Cause Paul was just a commercial guy. I mean, he was a people pleaser. He wanted to do the
You're
pop
right.
stuff that, that would get the ladies dancing and shit, or
Ringo was cool though. Ringo
John was
started wearing the
about the
stunners though.
mind.
Ringo was the guy who had the stunners with the signature beard when he got older. You know?
Oh yeah, he was a Rizzler too. Yeah, him and Paul they were on that Rizzler wave. Where John and George are more the type that were like, if you want to be with me, you've got to tap into your mind. Like they were more on that wave. They're kind of like
you gotta cleanse yourself of all this exterior material shit.
Yeah, exactly. They were on some true hippie shit.
Mhm.
They were like, yeah, they took that shit.
You
literally.
walk in the room and you know John's there because you can smell him. You're like,
Oh yeah.
What do you mean showers, man? I bathe in a river. That was a poor John Lennon impression, but I'm just British.
Yeah,
people.
and George is one. He loved it when they went to India for a Sergeant Pepper's. He wrote that the Within Without You. That was super like Indian inspired. Like
he might have ate some real good mushroom out there.
Oh, they all did. They all tripped out on shit out there. Even Paul did it. They said like they all did shit out there.
Yeah, because over there,
that's what inspired Sergeant Pepper's. That's why that album was so like out there and psychedelic. they got inspired.
They also there's a female that all the rock stars would go down to Mexico, right? And there's a female, and all the rockers would come down to see her, and she had the crazy mushrooms. You know what I mean? And like apparently the Beatles went down there too at one point. You know what I mean?
I bet they did.
Yeah, they were always.
Yeah, there were some real rockers, man. It's funny if people they were people that want to act like the Beatles were like not as the Beatles.
I think people just hate on the Beatles because they were exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're the ones that everyone knew. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like before the 80s. Like once we got like the 80s came around, you had like that, like the stadium rock where you had like, Guns N' Roses and like
AC/DC, all that shit. Yeah.
And like you
Van Halen,
yeah, Van Halen. Like you had this the synthy with the rock type of shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Journey, Bon Jovi,
exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like these guys, because I call them megastars because they did the big stadium tours, and you know what I mean. But before that, it was the Beatles, man. The Beatles did all that shit.
No, the Beatles and Stones, man. My dad's favorite band. The Stones. Yeah, I say the Beatles and then Led Zeppelin, bro. Led Zeppelin was fucking huge in the 70s. Like they were the biggest rock band in the 70s. I'd say Led Zeppelin was fucking crazy, but they didn't last as long because of fucking who died. One of their guys died. Fairly young, and so they quit.
Yeah, the lead singer, right?
No, he's still alive. Plant and Page, the guitarist, they're both still alive. They did an album together called Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, but
okay, duh.
But they never brought Led Zeppelin back because of was it John Paul Jones? Let me see who's the one
that's respect right there.
Yeah, no, they respected it. Yeah,
they're like, we're not just gonna replace Brad. I mean,
John Bonham. It was John Bonham. He died at age 32 in 1980, and alcohol poisoning. I guess is following a day of heavy drinking. It says. Yeah, it's like the AC/DC original singer Bon Scott died and is like choked on his own vomit, and then they brought in. Fucking the other guy that's still with him, Brian Johnson.
Mm-hmm. I love his voice.
Yeah, I think Bon Scott's voice was insanely good. I mean, the other guys are, but like this. No, I know, right? Yeah, those first couple albums with him, Highway to Hell. It's like, man, and then a TNT.
And all my friends will be there.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even the Thunder
drummer.
album.
He was a drummer. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, he was the drummer originally.
John Bonham. Yeah, for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, for Led Zeppelin.
He was the singer.
Yeah, and then the dude, the dude from AC/DC, the one now, or the one who.
The new guy. Yeah, Brian Johnson, the new guy.
Yeah, Brian Johnson, the hat game.
Yeah, he did he did Thunderstruck and Back in Black. I mean, he did a lot of their big shit. But I mean, the biggest badass for them is the Angus Young, the guitarist. He's the OG that really kept that shit together. I mean, he's a fucking he's one of the greatest.
You ever go down the
guitarists for
Aussie
sure.
rabbit hole?
Oh, a
The
little
Black
bit.
Sabbath?
Oh yeah. Sabbath's fucking badass, dude. Yeah, that's just, they were like the
Like
first.
that-
They were like the
had
founding fathers of metal.
they had a
heavy
guitarist that
metal.
was badass. Remember? Did you ever hear that story? The
Oh,
one
yeah,
who
I'm
did
not
like
sure
crazy.
who their guitarist was. Yeah, no one
Yeah, well,
really.
they had a young kid though. I think he was probably like not even like 20 years old, bro. And he was shredding, and then like he died in a plane crash.
Oh shit.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
For sure. Shit. Well, there we go. We just got our rock and roll podcast in there for y'all. We'll have to keep that talk going for sure. But anyway, yeah, really appreciate everyone that tuned in for this draft episode. We're gonna do the whole first. We decided to do picks 1 to 16 to make it a little less overwhelming for y'all, since I know we go deep here, pause, but that's just how we do it. You know, we love this stuff, and so we dive deep and give all our analysis. But yeah, I figure it'd be worth just breaking it up into two. So we're gonna do 17 to 32 next week. We still got Tet McMillan on the board. Still got Matthew Golden on the board. A lot of good prospects still available in this scenario. Jackson Dart. So, I mean, yeah, we'll have that probably next Sunday for y'all, 17 to 32, or maybe wake your game up, but probably next Sunday.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll pop in on a wake your game up one day this week if I'm free.
Yeah, Tuesday or Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll see what's up. Yeah, my schedule's crazy, but I think Sundays I'm usually always off. So I think maybe we could start making this a weekly thing.
I'm down. It's a good spot.
Yeah, Sunday nights. Yeah, it's a night people are just hanging out. So I mean, yeah, we appreciate everyone that tuned in. This is a great one, and we'll do it again next week. Real rock. Yeah, we could. Yeah, we need to start a fucking.
Hey, you ever seen Tenacious D? Tenacious D.
Pause.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I guess well, because I'm not even joking. Like, it's one of the greatest rock movies. It's one of the stupidest and the greatest all at the same time. It's Jack Black. It's fucking awesome.
Okay, no, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, definitely go. It's worth a watch. It's hella funny.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the town.
Let's take this thing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Check us out tomorrow on the GWN, the Gen Wealth Net on YouTube for OJ and a Blunt for Breakfast. Shout out to my man, Heart Start JD. And yeah, you know what I mean? We're going to rinse and repeat. Catch us for Wake Your Game Up Tuesdays and Fridays, and Wednesdays, Thursdays back again with OJ. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, y'all. Well, that being said, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Tune in to the OJ, and we'll be back with this shit next Sunday to do the 17 to 32. Peace out.
Peace.
Eureka.